Oh, you're not ready? Okay. Do you need warm up time or
I need more coffee.
you need more? Okay.
I'm kind of like I'm kind of experimenting with some things, secrets. So I was talking to Sai just earlier, just before this.
Okay.
Give me a sec. Just give me like 1 minute.
Okay. Go get some coffee.
Okay.
Right. Well, we'll start when he gets back and gets ready. I guess I was like doing like with my hands and stuff, and he was like, "Wait, are we starting?" I was like, "Are you not ready?" Oh, that's funny. That's good shit. So, how are you? How was your stream today?
I was short. I got like a short notification from Virio that you wanted me on. I was like, dude, I'm not ready for this.
You're always ready.
I'm still not ready, but it's okay. It's just like the experience of I don't know what. But yeah, pretty good, pretty short stream. And trying to find like some money strat for my chat, mainly like doing some science data crunching. But yeah, pretty good. How about yours?
Yeah, it's gonna be short too. I'm just doing this and then I'm gonna go try to get a massage. I need to relax somehow. You're playing softcore this thing, right?
Yeah, I've been playing softcore for quite a while now mostly because of my bad internet. And it may just like, it's frustrating to die over something you have no control over.
I feel you.
And I just stay. Like I could actually very much enjoy softcore.
Nice. Now you've been making crazy money farming layers, right?
Yeah, definitely. Lair is pretty cool. It's like high investment, high returns. It's just like I've always loved Lair more than any other map, even when like Underground Sea was like the most popular one. I was like, dude, I need to show this wolf who's the alpha in the room. I mean, it's not me, but I'm just pretending. And turns out the money is pretty good this league with the addition of the new card, Pride of the First Ones. It's definitely very good money. So we're looking at like, I don't know, 130x profit over 500 maps, which is pretty good. High investment though.
Actually really good. All right, fix my camera a little bit. I'm standing. Have you tried a standing desk before?
No, I've never tried it, but I kind of want to get one. My fiance, she really wants to try it, so
It's
I think
really
I'm gonna
good.
get one for her.
I wouldn't have like one permanently because then my back would be fucked, but like alternating between sitting and standing is really good.
So when you're racing, like, what's the do you like sit when you race, or do you just like alternate again?
Well, yeah, I can alternate mid-race. Like it's just one button, and it's really easy to just push my chair to the side and stand up.
Damn, yeah, sounds really good. How about get one as well? Most people have one now. Right?
Yeah,
Most,
like especially if you're gonna stream over 8 hours a day, then I would definitely
Yeah.
get one. Under that, it's probably fine. But it's so good for like alternating. Have you had how many wriggles did you get?
I think I sold 6 or 7
Wow.
revolves.
How much are they?
Almost. They sold for 9x each, pretty much.
Wow.
Bunch of pre-exhausts. Like fusing is like the unsung hero of layer, I would say. I think per day I was running beyond all the time, right?
Yeah.
And per day I was getting about 1,600 fusings. And right now, like the price is dumb in softcore. I think like we're reaching 200 fusing per exalt, and the exalt is like 160. It's really insane.
That's crazy.
So,
yeah. All right, Nugi, are you ready?
Yes.
Wait, what is that? What is that behind you?
What? The coffee cup.
Really? Oh, it looks like a bomb.
Like a kettle.
Looks like a Super Mario bomb.
All my coffee.
Huh. Here, speaking of Super Mario, did you see the Uber Elite tweet?
No.
He was saying that you know the Marrakesh boss? The mount is called Shiyo, right? And it's a bipedal dinosaur. Do you know what you get if you reverse Shiyo?
Yoshi?
You get Yoshi, which is also a bipedal dinosaur from Super Mario. So we're literally killing... Yeah, we're killing Yoshi in Path of Exile.
Nice.
Yeah, that's wild. Everyone ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go silent, and I'll turn on a black screen. All right. Welcome to episode 5 of Logical Optimism with my wonderful co-host Nugian, and we are joined below here with the beautiful Somayd. Thank you guys for joining.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. It's good. It's good.
Nugi sitting there chilling with his coffee. He looks happy.
Yeah, I'm good.
That's
I'm good.
awesome.
Already.
Both of you streamed already. How was your streams?
I died.
Oh yeah, me too.
I died many times, but softcore, is pretty forgiving for this. Cast on death, portal setup. It's okay. I'm over it. Was pretty good.
I feel yeah. Yeah, it was less forgiving for us. Well, we both died during leveling. You died in Blood
Yeah.
Aqueduct, right?
Yeah, kind of sucks. My good leveling gear.
So-
+1 tabula.
Your beard is gonna get crazy long this league.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I mean, the worst thing is the neck beard. 'Cause I'm only allowed to like trim my mustache.
Right. Oh yeah, that'd be
So
awful
neck beard.
if you weren't allowed to just like your hair when you're
Oh, the
drinking.
first time I wasn't allowed to. It was the worst thing ever.
Oh, that sounds horrible. Well, yeah, everyone has a beard. Everyone's got a beard. Yeah, no, for those of you who don't know, Nugi does no shave until 100, so he can't shave his beard unless he gets a level 100 character. What do you...
How long have we been doing this for, Nugi?
Huh?
How long have we been doing for the no shave to level 100? It's been a while, right?
I mean, you mean like the concept of it? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I did it one time. It was the first time I wanted to get a 100 because people were like, "Oh, you'll never get 100." Dude, watch me. I'm not gonna shave until I hit 100, and that was in Legacy League.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I haven't really done it
remember that.
since. I did it like one, but I cheesed that one because I never like. We got 100 in Grim Dawn. I had no idea how long that was gonna take, but I was enjoying Grim Dawn.
Ah.
And then all of a sudden I was just 100. I was like, whoa, that was fast. And I shaved.
That's cheating. Wow. So wait, do any of you guys use any beard oil?
When it gets long, yeah.
Not really. I just use like natural grease and maybe vape juice sometimes. I feel like it's like a nice blend of like flavors and aromas.
Fair enough.
No, I don't use this.
Yeah, no, I actually use beard oil. Like my girlfriend bought me some, and I was like, "Ooh, it's mostly." I don't know if it does much, but it smells really nice. But
It helps your skin below.
probably.
That's the good thing, yeah.
Oh, should I use it there too? I was so proud of myself. You guys don't have to laugh. I'll do it for you. So today we are going to talk about the economy. We're going to talk about things like, well, we're basically going to give a lot of tips on how you guys can make more money. Yep, that's right, chat. I'm talking about you. So lots of tips about that. And we're talking about flipping, del farming, lamb farming, loads of stuff like that. Because we're a little bit into the league now. Kind of forgot to add some topics, but we're also going to talk a little bit about the race from yesterday. We'll do that after trading. And at the end, we can do a little bit of a Q&A, a little back and forth with you, the chat, who are also joining us on screen, are always very well behaved as always. So yeah, let's start off with Nugi. How do you like making currency at the start of a league?
I play SSF, so I just pick up whatever's on the ground, dude. No, when I play trade,
Yeah.
pushing maps really fast and selling those is honestly one of the lowest effort ways of making currency, I think.
For sure, especially if you're one of the first people to get to maps.
Yeah.
Depends how good map drops are in the league. If map drops are really scuffed, like for example synthesis, you're one of the first
you can
people in
make
maps.
so
It's just
much.
like, yeah, boy, yeah, all these fuckers are struggling in map sustain. It's great. Especially if you can find a good way, like obviously the synthesis areas themselves were really good. Then yeah, it's nice. But even on SSF, you do have to make currency. Like, is there anything special that you do to make extra currency?
I mean, it depends on what you need. I mean, I would say, right. So delving, obviously, being smart with your delve, not forgetting to running incursion, like on it, all the side content is good generally.
Yeah.
Rarity on gear. I mean, so in SSF, alterations and alchemy orbs are pretty big. So any rarity is good just to have on your gear. It gives you more uniques. It gives you just more rares in general, so you can sell those to the vendor.
And easier
I
to
mean,
farm a
people,
lore weave.
yeah, that as well. Like it gives you options. I mean, look at this league, for instance. Having a bunch of alterations is not something we're upset about anymore. So selling some rares to the vendors is not bad early on.
And Somayd, you've been playing softcore this league, and this is actually a question for me as well. How the hell do you make money on softcore? Because from what I can tell, like, I normally do bosses on hardcore. That doesn't seem to be a great option on softcore.
All right, so I remember when I first switched to softcore leagues. So that was a while ago, like 2 years ago, when I started playing like almost exclusively trade league in softcore. I still play HC, but like mostly SSF or for races. And I had the same, how the hell am I gonna make money? And it's kind of like a different approach where everything that you make in a league will never disappear. So my approach here is like to find a character that I'm going to play a lot, and then like just continue playing a lot. And there's still many ways to make money. Maps, for example, it's still very viable. Really pushing maps early, because in softcore there's like, I would say, fewer racers and people who like really push the atlas for a race. It's not as competitive as hardcore. So when you're a solo player and you still like know how to push the atlas really quickly, I'm talking like 48 hours Uber Elder solo, you still sell maps. It's crazy expensive, and this is gonna last for like 4 to 5 days.
Right.
When you can sell maps and make, I don't know, over 100x just in a few days solo, just pushing super early. And then as the league progresses, pretty much like trying to anticipate the meta and craft accordingly. Crafting is really big, I would say, because a lot of players just simply follow builds. They work a lot. They don't necessarily have time to theory craft their own builds. So they find a guide that they trust, and then they're going to buy exactly the items that are listed in this guide. And crafting accordingly those items, get the bases, craft the bases, just add value to items is what I found the most efficient solo way of making money without really flipping or entering this kind of weird money type of circle.
And do you put a lot of your currency into Exalt super early? Because like we know the meta now, and obviously it's like guaranteed to spike up to like at least 150 C on softcore. Is that
for softcore? It's more about Exalts. I don't really do currency manipulation. I tend to always kind of stay low on Exalts. What I invest more in would be momentum items. So Headhunter, Inspired Learning, before it was a Natural Instinct, like for a fact that those items would always go up in price after the 10-day mark, where like people are done with their build, they have a 6 link, and now they can invest into like more into their character. And this is when like everyone at the same time all of a sudden can afford Inspired Learning, so the price just skyrockets. And this league is even like 10 times worse than other leagues for momentum items.
Is that something, this is both of you, but are you a bit surprised with how, like, I feel like Headhunter is so much more powerful this league than it's ever been before? Because even with like double beyond and stuff, right? Sure, it's amazing and it changes the game completely. But with the 5 emblems, I feel like it's just, wow, crazy.
Oh, it is, especially after the patch this week, where now you get double buffs from the monolith. Like now this is crazy, especially like Headhunter plus Inspired Learnings, and even the Elder Claws, like the mod. There's a mod on the Elder Claws that allows you to steal mods that like stacks with Headhunter and Inspired Learnings, so you can reach like this crazy amount of like buff stacking. And if you had like Temp Chain setup and 5-man emblem, 5 ways emblem, it becomes nuts. Like almost mandatory if you want to make a profit out of those 5-way emblems. At least in softcore.
It's crazy. Like, Nugi, are you surprised how like big the change and difference is with Headhunter this league?
I mean, after seeing that you could, I don't know, after seeing all the rares, I think after we saw the emblem fight, how that worked. So we didn't know exactly how that fight worked, but after we understand that, I mean, if you'd known that beforehand, it would be pretty obvious. But yeah, so I mean, I'm not surprised after seeing it. I mean, I'm surprised that they made the league this way, I would say.
Same.
Yeah.
Like I've always wanted something like the emblem farming in PoE with like an endless arena kind of thing. Yeah. I still wanted it a little bit different. I really like Last Epoch's take on it with the whole go until you die, basically. Which is especially cool in hardcore. Which we already have the similar one in Delve, so I'm not surprised that this is different. But I think both are like cool concepts. But
I mean, it's like this.
Headhunter's
Like, imagine having a headhunter in that as well, right?
Yeah.
That would be the same thing.
Yes.
And they made the cards a lot more rare. So I like right now, like what I'm doing is just gathering data, like testing everything that got changed and new cards and like nerfs and all this. And the Doctor is a lot more rare, like a lot more rare. So not only they make new content that you can fully juice only with Headhunter and those items, and they also make the Headhunter a lot harder to acquire. So this is like the perfect storm to make the Headhunter super expensive.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did not expect it to be this expensive. Maybe ATX in softcore, but this expensive, like
How
I
much is it
never
now?
would have thought. It's like 115 to 120 in softcore.
Wow. That's crazy. I'm so I like go through phases, but I'm like at the moment definitely not like a big fan of Headhunter. I feel like an item like that is more something. I feel like it works more as an alternative game mode, like a race or an
Yeah.
event. I don't particularly feel like it's super fun in like the core game. I think it just makes the difference in what people can do between people who have one and what and the ones that don't. I think it makes the difference too big. Like I've had probably 15 headhunters, and it's just a completely different game, right? It's not the
Yeah, it
same
is.
game anymore.
You
And
adjust, yeah.
yeah, and from what I'm not sure if this is correct because I don't play softcore, but I've had several of my viewers say that the 5-man emblems are only worth doing if you have a headhunter or a completely busted build that can do it without.
I mean, that being okay. So with that, that's in terms of, do I just sell my emblems or do I run it for profit?
Yeah,
It's not like you can't run an emblem and not get anything in there.
right.
If you have a
No,
decent
but
build, you still get stuff out of it, and you might get maybe a few, 20% less, and you get to run the content and still get something out of it.
right.
But if you're only looking at it for making profit, if you don't have a headhunter, the 5-way emblems you should just sell them. No, I mean,
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? It's not just 20% less like it is.
no. But I'm just saying, right? There's like from the 3 to the from the 2 to the 3 to the 4 to the 5. Right? It's not like you can't run any of it, and you're like you should stay clear. 4-way emblems, right? Compared to a headhunter, if you're good enough, you'll do fine. You'll probably even break even if you have a really strong build without headhunter. You might even make a profit.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I agree on this. From what I've seen, it seems to be like 60 to 80, maybe even 90% more profit if you're doing it with a headhunter because it's just busted.
You know, it is on 5-ways, yes, because they have so much health.
Be even on 4-ways. It's just you're just running around one-shotting.
Yeah.
That's hard to do even with a good build. And like I said, if you have like
okay, but you're
Xerxes-
talking about like making the most profit, but there's also just breaking even. Because if you're just breaking even versus just selling them, you can still run them. Like
That's
we're
true.
getting into this idea that
That's true.
that it's impossible to do the content because you're just literally just taking your exalts and putting them down the drain. I mean, you're still getting something out of it. You might even break even, which should be enough for you to then also run the content. So it's like, don't be afraid of running some of this content and feeling
I
bad
agree
about
with
it.
you, Nugi, here.
I mean, I run it. I mean, I know like if I had a headhunter, I would make like way more. But that doesn't mean like, because I was really frustrated myself the other day. I was like, I don't want to run these because I'm not running them for profit.
That's how
So I
I
just
feel.
told myself, this fucking sucks. I'm running them anyways. Screw everything.
Okay, well, I can't do that. I'm still stuck on that first stage. This fucking sucks.
I know.
I feel like there's a big part as well, like in terms of value, and like I think like it's pretty easy to break even without all those big items, because like the market of timeless jewels is so weird. Trying to price check an item is so weird. There's a lot of value, so I feel like it's possible to break even without all those items, but you need to find a way to just give
Yeah.
exposure to your jewels, and this is where all the value is. Like if you have no idea how to price your jewel and how to like spread it so that people can buy it, then you're not going to make any money. And it applies to the guys with like headhunters, like the people who farm super efficiently with headhunters and inspired learnings. Those are people who have like their network and they can price those jewels and find the right people to sell them for a lot of money. So there's like also a part where like price checking and like giving exposure to your items is a massive part of like the profit of this whole thing.
That's true.
Also remember, I come from the hardcore perspective, so I don't really play softcore. I mean, you could convince me that on softcore it's not worth it at all.
I mean, it is. It's really fun. Like, fun is worth it, dude.
Yeah.
No,
I agree with that.
I agree. It's just it's so much harder for me to enjoy if I feel like I'm missing out massively.
Yes.
It's a very hard mentality for me to go like, oh yeah, let's just do it for fun. And I haven't done any 5s, mind you. So I've saved up all my Mariketh ones because I'm like, you know what? This is the same as a Chayula Breach. I don't want to run it unless if I think I'm gonna fail it because I haven't really had any characters strong for that. I've had like boss killers and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely been hard for me. But there's so much fun things about them, and I think it's really cool for the economy. Speaking of the economy, I'm a little bit unhappy about the timeless duels and how it is for like the general player base. It's good for me, but I keep getting people coming into my channel every day being like, Zizaran, how do I sell timeless duels? And I'm like, you don't, because like outside of things like auctions and stuff, you're basically relying on trusting people. There is like a subreddit where people have been posting their jewels and stuff, but I've already heard of a few people that have been like had bad experiences. Where it's like, oh yeah, this is like totally 400% fist damage, bro. Look at my screenshot. Trust me, I made it in Paint. So you know, like unless you're a streamer, they are hell to sell. And I had a lot of fun doing the auction, which we talked about on the last podcast. For those of you who haven't seen it, I actually did it. Got it like. I just pulled out my headset, but I got a top hat and everything, and yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. Hold on.
I think to the point about the timeless jewels, I think there's a lot of currency to make as well on crap jewels at the same time, because what would you do if you could check them all? Nobody would buy your crap. Now people are kind of forced to. So it's like you think that like you're only missing out. There's also the opportunity there,
right? Yeah.
To just put, because it's like there's gonna be a lowest price on whatever jewel you put up, and that's just it, right? It probably from the keystone mostly, and then the rest is a gamble. Obviously, some of the better ones you would love to sell, but you can sell all your crap at least.
You would also, though, if you could import this into POB, you would have, sure, like the expensive ones would skyrocket up to like, 30, 50, even like 100x for some completely busted ones, right? Maybe even more. But the lower price would go down. Like, they would be like, oh, this one's shit everywhere. It's going to go down in value. Exactly. But then you can divine these, right? And I've gotten several good ones from divining. So that is worth it too. I think it's a bit of a pain for I've not heard many like people that aren't streamers going like, yeah, I fucking love this mechanic, dude. I love not being able to know what they do everywhere. Like, and a lot of people don't want to make PvP scions and log between 3 characters for every duel. Like, just a lot.
Yeah.
It's not what people enjoy loving spending like 3 character slots on or 4 character slots or however many you need. So
I think it would be nice in game if we had like a just in general, like a planning stage, right? Where you had everything, we could just plot things around, right? You would have your alternate in-game passive tree, and you could literally just plot in the jewel, and it would show you.
Nice. That would be a great change. Yeah.
I mean, then you could do whatever. You could just have like your character screen, and you could just sit in there and fiddle, whatever. Like, I mean, you could use it for many things.
Yep, be great.
Give us something where we could just, I don't know, figure anything out.
And I made a jewel inspector to try to make some a balance between helping people and making money. It wasn't making that much money, and oh my god, I hate it. Looking through people's jewels, especially like the lethal pride ones, because it doesn't highlight what the difference is. So I'm looking at the note and I'm like, 20% burning damage. Look at the next one. What is this? Regen? Lead? 20% burning damage. Yeah. Like, it's just such a pain. Like, if it like highlighted it in red or something, like even that would be so much better. At least there's some that change everything. They're easy.
You know what they do with some of the other jewels? They'll if it's active, it'll like show below the jewel, right?
Yes.
It'll like show the stats.
Yes. That would be great.
That would be
if
great.
They would do that. Just like the potential stats on it, and then the currently active ones.
Yep. That would actually be really nice.
Like, there's at this point, it's so complicated, this whole system, and it's so obscure that I feel like one of the things that's funny to do with those jewels is like find the best spot in any tree for a given jewel that you have and build around it, like building around jewels rather than just like try to find the right jewel. So it's something I'm going to do and experiment with, like, oh, this jewel is great for this build, let's do it. And
Yeah.
it's pretty fun.
There's so many cool ones though. We had some in the auction. Like the problem with doing it on hardcore, and that's why I want to like actually do it on softcore as well, is because there wasn't that many people bidding, and it's hard for a lot of people to have a lot of raw currency on hardcore. So we had like a few like insane jewels where it was like 20% double damage, 10% intimidate, and 15% strength stacking, or 20% strength stacking. We had some crazy jewels, and they only went for like 7x. So I think when we do like a bigger auction, we're gonna see some bonkers ones. And I think the highest potential is probably the Pirandas ones. If you get like everything lining up with like minion damage, fist damage, stuff like that. Like there's so many cool ones. I love it. But they are like definitely a streamer advantage kind of thing.
100%. Also, like I don't know about you guys, but when you're a streamer, whenever someone finds something cool, they let you know first. Like, you know,
Yes.
they talk to you in private. They're like, yo, this jewel is perfect. This is the real streamer advantage here. It's like, yo, put this here. It's going to give you 320% damage, like 50 curse effect. Like, this is the best one.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's like the real streamer advantage, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. And like, just so cool to see what all of them do as well. Like, I feel like the Doriani ones is a little bit baity, because I had somebody come to me and they were like, yo, this Doriani jewel does like 100% chaos damage, 60% damage over time, or something like that. And on paper, that sounds really good. But you gotta remember, for the most part, the notables are the only things that do something. Like the small ones, the travel nodes, usually give like 3% attack speed, 3% mana regen or something. So they're just...
That can be great though.
But yes, but they
when you
are...
travel.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like the travel nodes are usually garbage and not good for your build. So it's so hard to have that there's enough notables worth taking, and that the travel nodes are good. Because if it's 4 travel nodes to get 30% chaos damage, that's the same as taking like 7% chaos damage per point.
Well, I was thinking just the stat nodes, that you can convert them into something useful.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so you have like 4 or 5 travel nodes can be like get some real potential all of a sudden.
Yeah,
so that's kind of nice.
For sure. But I feel like the Doriani ones are better in areas where you're not normally taking the slots. Because if you put it somewhere like the main Templar area, the main Shadow area, then
there, I would say
it's very hard to get them good there.
Yeah.
But there's so much more like build potential with these tools. So I kind of hope they stay. I do hope they like make it either after the league or during the league, make it open so we can just import them into Path of Building. So I don't know. It's pretty bad for a regular person, I'd say. Like if you don't have the ability to stream and stuff.
It looks deliberate to me though. Like from GGG, it's like a deliberate decision to have the item this way. Like just figure it out. Just no trade. Just figure it out. Use what you have.
This is what they wanted for Synthesis.
True, but true. Would have been awful though.
Yeah, and like nobody really seems to enjoy that.
Yeah.
I like the gambling and the search for it without knowing. I probably bought 12. I've been buying like Doriani jewels and then just listing them at the same price. So I buy them at like 50 and put them up for 49 or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And then I just check the same spot until I hit one, and I finally hit it. So I needed at Avatar Fire, then it covers the two notable agility and strength. And I needed one of them to go cold damage and leech. So I get cold damage and leech on like from 1 point. And I finally found one after like 12 tries. So that was awesome. And that's not without, I mean, I would do that. Like anyone can do that. Yeah. Just like buy and resell.
And did you take notes of like what you had on the others so you could like have a book and people buy it? That's the part, right?
I'm a bit lazy, but you should start noting down, right?
Yeah.
I think one of the things that frustrates me slightly with the jewels is that like there'll be people watching, and I'll find like a good one or say a good one. People be like, "Ooh, what number was that?" And they're like gonna write it down and try to find the same one. It's like, 116,382. Have fun divining for it? Question mark. Like, so that's a little like frustrating. I feel kind of bad because I'm imagining somebody's like opening up trade and just going like, no, not that one. Not that one. Not that one. I'm just looking through it.
Can I rant about one thing?
Sure. Rant away,
The
Nugi.
tree, okay, the tree is not symmetrical. Have you noticed this? This is like the first time I really noticed how not symmetrical the tree is. Because up at the top, the stat nodes go upwards, they go outwards. Everywhere else, they go inwards, meaning that it's only at the top you can put a jewel and then utilize the damn 30 nodes. Everywhere else, they go too far away.
Wait, you can use the 30 nodes over by
No,
CI as
yeah.
well.
No, but go down, right? Anywhere else in the tree except the top. They all go inwards, and it's so frustrating. Because that's so powerful to use two notables.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be crazy strong if like the beef and wisdom of the glade. There's a node
Yeah.
called beef.
Yeah, beef is the best. Vegan hates it.
I had to get that out there. It frustrated me so much because I was trying to theorycraft it. Because after I realized how good that was up at the top, I was like, oh, what can we do? Oh, really?
Beef.
Sorry,
like-
sorry, everyone.
That wasn't that big of a rant. I was expecting something more, to be honest.
Just a small rant.
It's all good. We can keep talking more about economy stuff. Flipping is something that can be really, really valuable and probably the single best way of making money in the game. Obviously, it's not for everybody. And for those of you who don't know what flipping is, for example, if I say Somayd, he's selling an essence drain jewel. It's got either max life or max energy shield, and it's got chaos damage, damage over time, and increased damage. But he's got it listed for 7 chaos. I instantly message him to buy it. Boom! He sells it to me. I buy it for 7 chaos. I relist that bad boy for 3 exalted orbs, and somebody else buys it off me. So I just put in 7 chaos, and I made 3x, right? That's what flipping is. And that is something that can be very, very easy to do, especially on jewels. Have you guys, Somayd, have you had any experience with flipping?
I do. Like back in the days, I haven't done this in a long time, but sometimes I really wanted like an item. For example, I was playing in hardcore, I rip, and then I reroll in softcore. I'm like, okay, I want Skyforce. It's 50x. I'm gonna flip. So it's all about like finding, like knowing what's valuable. So it's yet again another thing that's gated behind knowledge, I would say. And then you just whoop like the jewels, like you said, rings, amulets, and you get like the best deals, and then you just list them back up. So I did this, but it's very rare. And the rest is more like unintentional flipping, where like you make a character and you craft all your gear. I love crafting my gear. I think it's just, I don't know, I just love SSF. So I usually just craft all my gear, my rings, my amulets, my jewels. And you craft some good stuff for pretty cheap, like just, alterations, regals, fossils that you found yourself. And then you end up selling them for like 4 or 5x. So it's like, or when you don't like a build and then you sell the gear, that's like unintentional flipping because you find the good value. Like you play your character currently and like, and maybe I should play this assassin auto bomber next. So you just whoop the good stuff and finally you put the build together. It sucks and you just put the gear back on trade, except you had all the good deals. So you can sell at like a pretty chunky margin. So that's mostly what I do. It's like unintentional flipping and it works pretty well, I would say.
What about Nugi? Do you ever do any flipping?
I mean, I do the same thing. You look for some good pieces for your build, right? You stumble across some good, some good deals, and you take them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then if you get bored of the build, you sell it again. And a lot of the time, it ends up being at a profit because you bought something that was a good deal, generally, or at least you tried to. So, like, once you start understanding what's really good and what's really bad, then, right, it just kind of happens by default without you even trying.
See, it's sort of like, it can be like an ethical issue as well, because like sometimes when I see some things, I'll see it's like a good deal, it's like cheaper than normal, but not like crazy. If I see something like a 3x jewel listed for like 3C, I'll be like, hey, you've listed this too cheap or something.
Yeah.
But like it's kind of hard, where do you draw the line there as well, right? And I feel like it's a lot easier to flip when somebody's, or like, I don't really do it anymore. I've done it in other games a lot, especially World of Warcraft. but I feel like it's easier to do it when they set the price, right? If someone has like a crazy thing listed with no price, and I'm like, hey, I'll buy this off you for 4C. That feels
Yeah.
worse than, you know, I was listed it for 10C. Well, fuck it. He listed the price.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, this is
I mean-
a crazy way to make money.
I think if you give I mean, sometimes I mean you could just give a complete low ball. I mean, you could go for a let's see if I can get this for cheap, right? And I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to get something for cheap, but there is something wrong with trying like being disingenuous
Right.
or trying to convince someone
Yes.
that they are like that the item is worth way less than it actually is.
Yeah.
That's where I draw the line. Like I'll give the offer. I'll see. Okay, will he take it? But I'll never try and convince someone to say,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's only worth such and such because such and such," and you should believe me because I've played for so
Yeah.
and so long.
This is really annoying, yeah.
Yeah.
People
yeah.
do that, and
I hate
that's
that.
kind of where I draw the line.
No, I hate that. That's like borderline more on scamming. And
Mm.
like you can also even if you do buy something ridiculously cheap, even if you do it before or after, like even if you tell them like, hey, you know, this was worth a lot more, because at least they'll learn from it in the future.
Yeah.
I've actually had a weird trading experience where I messaged a guy for an item and he didn't reply, and he upped it from like 20C to 40, and I was like, well, fuck, I still want this item. So I messaged him again, like he still wasn't replying, and he upped it from 40 to 80. And I was like, okay, I don't want it anymore. I'm just going to see what happens. So I messaged him again, and he upped it from 80 to like 3x. And I was like, fucking hell. Is he just going to keep upping it until he's like, when is this guy going to be happy? He's just not getting whispers anymore. It's like, now it's priced just right. Nobody's messaging me for my item.
Lots of people outsource price checking like this, right? Price checking is pretty hard in theory, so they just put tabs and they wait until everyone stops messaging them for the item. It's like, that's the right spot. Well, they never sell it.
Lower
That's
a bit.
Yeah.
It's so weird. But to be fair, I think it's very easy to do that in Path of Exile because items is so hard to identify. And I remember something I did where this was back in like, I think it was either before Nemesis League, so when there was nothing, or in Nemesis League. And I found some crazy boots. It was something like tri-res with like 80 or 90 res and then 30 MS and like 70 life, which was like crazy back then. And I got offered 12x, which was also like crazy back then. But I was like, oh, he's offering 12x. I want like 15. And he was like, no, I'm offering 12x. And I was like, oh, but I want at least 15. He was like, no, I'm offering 12. 15. And then eventually he was just like, nah. And then I was like, well, you know, this guy, like, and this was like as soon as I put them up for sale, pretty much. And I never got another offer on those boots. Like, you know, it offered like a 7 or 8x offer, and I didn't sell them. I still have those boots. And after that, I've stopped caring so much about the price. Unless it's something where I'm like, if I'm like, okay, this is worth 100x, then I'll wait. But if it's something where I'm like, okay, I might get 1x more for this, or I might get 20c more for this, I'm like, just like fucking take it, dude. I'd rather sell things fast than like get rid of it so I can move on with like playing. But yeah, definitely, it's very easy to do in PoE. Like you don't want you get that fear of
that you're selling yourself short or an item short. Yeah, for sure.
It especially when you're new, it can be very easy for that to happen, even when it's like 10c. Like you don't want to miss out on that 10c because that can be a lot to you.
Yeah.
It's not just for trading as well. Like I feel like overall PoE is a pretty unforgiving game. So lots of newer players, like if they mess up their tree or their build, they want like triple checking. So they check the guide, they check with their friends, then they check with the streamer, because like messing up is gonna ruin a character pretty much, or your experience. So there's like this fear that's slow a lot of people down, like especially new players. There's the fear of missing out or like being scammed. So,
and that's why I want to try to make like a price check video, because in PoE there's such a big difference between like, oh, this is a nice life and dual res ring, oh, but it's got flat fizz on it and it has an open suffix, right? That just like propels the value so high, but it's not going to look like a massive difference for a new player. They might not know that it has an open suffix, and they might not know that having flat fizz increases the value by a lot. So
lots of rules, like if there is this, then it adds a lot of value on this base. It's the same for the Atlas, right? Like it's a game of rules, exceptions. You cannot make like a very simple video. It's like, oh, boom, that's like 30 chaos. Or the Atlas, like, boom, this is super easy. it's just exception after exception. You have to explain all those like why this is gonna add value.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Same with jewels. Like another quick example, it's like if you have a life and double damage for say like fist builds, but then you know sometimes like having dex might like up 1x on the price or 2x on the price, or having int, because somebody instead of having to get a whole new gear piece, they can get like a double damage life with this stat jewel, and that's what I did for my champion, and I ended up paying like 2x extra for jewels just to like plug up the stats there, and yeah, that can like be huge. Whereas new players would just be like, oh, well, it's just 8 dexterity, it doesn't like increase the price, so they're just gonna sell it for the same as like a double damage life jewel. It's just it's crazy.
And the thing is, even like veteran players won't even know before a league starts that something like that is going to happen. That stats for a specific league are going to be like massive. Right? This league, the way people build and the way that the skill tree ended out on a lot of people, because people tend to gravitate to kind of the same passive trees, and so they will all run into the same problems, which could either be int or resist or dex, or everyone runs the same unique, and so everyone like runs, so and without knowing, one stat becomes triple the value in a new league. And I ran into this problem, so I started looking for int on all my jewels because it was the only thing holding me back.
Yeah,
but I didn't predict this before the league. I mean, I probably could have, maybe, if I'd spent like a long time theory crafting just that. But it's something it's really hard, even for veteran players, to know.
Yep.
There was a lot of changes this league. Holy crap. Like the tree was just like, oh, please, I need 3 days break to just like comprehend what's going on and try to explain it to my viewers because this is too nuts. And you just miss things.
I feel like something that's really cool this league is, I would say that in a lot of leagues, the meta ends up being whatever's the strongest builds, right? Whereas I don't feel like that's the case this league. I feel like right now, the meta is very much about popularity and that people have been like thirsty for melee for a long time, but I don't feel like melee is the strongest builds this league. So I feel like the strongest builds are a lot cheaper right now. Like if you put 5x into something like say Hawa or some of the spell bids, not necessarily ED. ED is one of the strongest builds, and rightly so, and it's also pretty expensive. But there's so many completely busted builds. Like you can still use Indigo on softcore for stupid damage. You can do Eternity Shroud builds, which are insane on like Stormburst and stuff. There's so many busted builds you can do for like literally 3 to 5% of the budget, but they're not super meta. And you guys saw the champion Facebreaker build I did. A lot of my viewers have started doing that now, and especially softcore viable. There was one guy who said he put like 40C into the build and he's got 7 million damage on softcore. Because it's just like there's like so many people aren't using Facebreakers, but obviously it breaks completely with Impale. And part of the reason why it's not as popular is Impale calculations don't show up in Path of Building. So unless you specifically know how to put them in, you're not going to accidentally discover it. So I think that's really fun.
Like regarding Impale, I feel like maybe I'm probably not the only one, but I started with dual wielding Cyclone Slayer this league. It was like extremely strong. It was Impale based, and I got like the easiest first Uber Elder of the league. But there's one big thing that Impale is lacking ultimately, is just like good feedback when you clear a map. Like I have a very hard time playing without Hero Device. I just like it so much. And so just Impale doesn't give me like a good feedback, unless you're playing maybe with Bleed Explosions, but they were like scuffed for a long time against Moonlight. So like the feedback I feel like is super important, because you don't get the same satisfaction out of a like purely damage centered build and no like fancy stuff attached to it. Yeah. Rather than just like, a crunchy build.
I don't know, man. I played my Cycloner, and the fact that I could put on the Illusionist MTX and things just kind of whoosh. I'll jump into the passive, whoosh, and things would just like fall over. I was just like this calm every time I would kill a pack. No like crazy explosions, or I could just like play the game and talk to people and listen to my music. It was great.
I'm more on Somayd here. I made a assassin for Herald of Ice, played Vortex, and I managed to get 3.5 base crit gloves from Horror with 70% crit multi. So I was so happy. That's exactly what I wanted, and there were +1 gems as well. So I was just loving it, and I had like 8k effective HP. It was beautiful. and then I died off stream. That was really sad. I still miss
You
it.
still have the POV of this? I might just yonk it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was using the soul tether overleech, but obviously the thing I died in was someone was like, "Hey, do you want to join for a spider kill?" And I was like, "Yeah, can I switch to my jug?" And he's like, "There's no time. Just you'll be fine. We'll kill it." And then I for some reason went in early anyway, because I was like, I wasn't thinking straight. It was just dumb. And the magma ball from Venomous like one shot me while it was invisible. Like it wasn't on my screen. So on my screen you just see that I just like die from nothing. Which is also a fun bug. But yeah, so that was sad. Feels bad.
Yeah, invisible explosions are fun.
Yeah. Yeah, you died to the elder one like that, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
last the flashback race. That
It
was
sucks
great.
because I knew it could happen going in as well.
Yeah.
So
No, I did too. I even waited. I was like, this seems fine. Oh, okay.
It wasn't
fine at all.
Narrator, it wasn't. Oh, yeah, that sucks. There is another really, really good way of making currency besides just flipping, which is delve farming. And there are several ways to do delve farming. You can set up a speedrunner, which is something like, for example, Freak is known for doing this, which is probably the most boring way to make currency in the game. You get 600 to 700 movement speed, and you rerun the same zone over and over again, and you don't break any walls. And then in the small pockets, it will spawn like the wealth chests and fossils. And you can make, depending on how fast and efficient you are, it's between 500 to 700 chaos an hour. This has been nerfed. You used to be able to get more fossils, but obviously since the nerf, prices have gone up. So you're making around the same amount of currency. I did this in Delve League and showed it off on my stream. I'm making a new character and I'm going to show it off again. It is definitely very boring. It's fun like the first 10 hours, and then my stream after that was like, Resident Sleeper, please do something else. But it's a crazy amount of currency, and unlike a lot of other investment stuff in the game, there's no variance here. It's very stable 500 chaos an hour. Whereas things like, you could get 100x an hour doing Shaper if you're just dropping back-to-back Star Forges, but you're not gonna. So, like, there's very little variance. But it's very, very boring. There is also just regularly delving, going deep and breaking the walls and trying to look for bosses. And Nugi, what have you tried the speedrunning thing? Like no walls?
I did a little bit, but you need a proper build for it. You need to run real fast for it to be like worth it. Like you need the 500 movement speed build or whatever.
Yeah. Well, what about the other one?
A little bit. I haven't done much of that yet. I mean, I like delving. I like it a lot, but I don't have enough tools of getting more juice. So it's kind of like I just do it whenever I have it. And then, I mean, I've farmed like 20 serratids just randomly by doing it. And serratids are worth quite a lot. So
they're crazy.
Yeah.
Are you SSF right now?
It's really no. I just play the game SSF even though I'm in trade league. Whenever there's something I really need, I'll trade for it. And whenever I craft something big that I don't need, I'll just sell it.
Yeah. I prefer playing more SSF as well. I usually don't sell things. If I craft something big, I'm like, I might use this at some point, and I'll keep it. So I end up using very little.
I already had a build with like life, max life, and life recovery. So I just made another one randomly.
Wow.
Yeah, sold it for 5x. That was nice.
What about you, Somayd? Have you done the speed farming in Delve?
Yeah, like Delve farming was so when was it? Like 2 leagues ago was for Betrayal. Yeah, for Betrayal. So I remember like lots of people, ask you how to make currency in this game. And like lots of new players, there was like a big influx of new players for Betrayal. And I just like came up with this thing where it was like a semi-fast character, just any MF character except you don't have MF gear, like a Deadeye, like Rain of Arrows. And it's like actually wall busting because they nerfed already for Betrayal, where you cannot do like the same zone over and over and expect big fossil results. And so instead, like, it was just the wall busting, and there's like this. It adds this layer of having to find the right spot that I call like the Dorado, El Dorado, and just like pop the walls and go super fast, and like do this in low level delve from like 30 to 60. So the cost is extremely low. You get like 1 scarab, and you can delve the entire day for this, and that was like really good profit. Like if you target like the specific biomes, and that was nerfed again like in Synthesis, where now the cost is higher. But you can still do this, actually. You can still do this. You start at like depth like 70, you stay around like depth 70, and you do the same. So you don't have to like necessarily have a very fast build, but if you target like serrated fossils, perfect fossils, you can still make like some fat stacks, I think. But like right now, honestly, the league is so fun. I just don't want to delve.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to delve, dude. Just want a map.
I've just found like the fossil prices are kind of like wild. They're like really high, but even for resonators, like 2-socket resonators are 2C for 1 on hardcore, and I'm like, I don't want to pay that. So that's why I'm making a delve farmer, just to do that a little bit. And serrateds are like between 17 to 23C on how many people are buying them. I don't want to pay that when I can farm like several of those an hour. And part of it as well, I like showing off things for stream, not necessarily something I didn't end up doing it a lot last time, but there were so many people when I was talking about it, and I kept saying like you can make at least 400, maybe 500C an hour doing this, and people were like, no, you can't, like you're over exaggerating. And I made 630C the first hour, and they were like, oh. So I was just like a lot of people just don't think it's possible because of like different ways of playing.
I will say though, you didn't factor in, like you're assuming that things were selling exactly at the price you're reporting in that, and you didn't factor in any trade or any time there. I feel like you were a little bit on the generous side for yourself on that one, because I saw that. But I mean, at least you were making.
That was without even counting the resonators, though.
Oh, you weren't counting the resonators?
No.
In that?
No.
Oh, that's a lot of money, man. That's a lot of money.
It was crazy money I made on that. Yeah. So it was crazy because I.
No, it was really good. It was really good.
Yeah.
And
they're easy to sell, especially this league.
Yeah.
So many people are crafting now, so it should be even easier now. And even if all you're getting is only 300C an hour, that's very crazy.
That's good. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you just buy scarabs and just?
No, you don't use sulfite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you just run.
So you do the dark
back and forth.
Yeah. So like Freak was giving me some tips on it, and he hadn't died in 2 leagues, but this time he tried farming the magma biome, and he lost 2 characters already. So apparently the magma biome is super rippy for doing it.
The arena with the wolves and the golems at the end. Yeah, this thing is really bad.
So I'm going to stay out of those. I'm probably going to stick to the frigid ones.
What's the magma? Is it just the fire one?
Yeah.
Perfect, enchant. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it is really fun. I can actually show it off real quick on stream because I still have I ripped. Oh, wait, did I rip it? I might have it on. No, it's on hardcore still. For those of you who like haven't seen this in action before and stuff, I haven't actually. I don't think I have a good spot for this. Like, you really do want to find like there's this. I'm not even 100% sure. I've seen some examples, but you can find
I can explain what you need.
Yeah, like this is like an okay one, but you can get even better than this. And obviously, this is a magma biome too. And then
so I think what you want as well, you want to have actually you don't want to have like any roads on the side either. You want the area to be free of anything as well, from my understanding, so it doesn't collide with anything. And then you would prefer it to go from like corner to corner, because it's like it goes on a 5x5 grid, so you want it to like go out and down to like cover as much as possible.
Yeah. And what you end up doing is you go for the wealthy chests that drop you pure currency. Also, this is a fairly slow character for it. I think this is only like 400% movement speed. You can get up to like 700 or something.
You need to be focused for this though, right? You cannot stream with like 700 ms and like play accurately.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's possible.
My character's probably gonna be like 500 or 600 ms. and like 60k evasion plus acrobatics. And you run through and you get some runs you'll get 0 fossils, but you know, like once you get down to it and run really fast, you're doing it very fast. You don't pick up stuff like that. And most people who are doing this don't even pick up resonators. Obviously, this league, resonators are worth quite a lot.
Yeah.
So doing this on a fast character, once you're optimized and focusing on it, is kind of crazy. You can actually pick up the blue stuff as well. Ooh. And
Just buy the resonators.
yeah. Yeah, or like just use it to upgrade for like another character that's deep. And then once you get to the end, you just click again on the start and you're just running over and over again. As I said, like this character isn't like set up for it properly. It's still like got lots of levels missing and there's jewels missing and stuff. So you just run over and over again. And if you're picking up fossils, you probably only have to like bank every like 20-30 minutes, but then you have an inventory full of fossils. And you can like very easily like pick up all of these. But yeah,
That's
so
a lot of money, yeah.
yeah, and then if you find like say 2 serrateds in one run, you know, that's like on hardcore half an exaltador right there. So it is not, as I said, like this is probably the most boring thing in the game to do. But
I need you to sell this more because I need to buy some of these resonators and fossils.
that's the other thing that's good. If there's a lot of people doing this, then the price goes down. And I can't remember what I invested on that character in Delve. And that survived the entire league as well. I invested, I think it was something like 2 or 3x, and it took me like 26 minutes to get back or something. So, you know, it wasn't a big investment. And
Yeah, it's pretty cheap,
obviously,
so
gotta remember, you can't destroy walls during this. So, yeah. But, you know, it's good for currency, and especially if you like don't like trading that much and you want to make your own. I don't think I didn't end up selling that many fossils later on in Delve. I just kept
use
like
them yourself, right?
yeah, I kept like just grabbing them for crafting for myself. Because like Nugi, I mostly do enjoy like an SSF feeling to my game where I just like, okay, I really need this item, I'll buy it. Or just like I'll sell things and use that currency for crafting myself. Because I would rather spend 20-30% more and craft an item than to buy it. It's just, I love crafting. And you do have that, like, suddenly you make Torment Ren by accident.
Famous, yeah.
And if you destroy the wall, those fossils don't respawn. The entire thing dies. So they've nerfed this and changed this over time, but it's still very, very good. So that's the way I prefer playing the game. I think like Legion farming, like just making a character to speed farm Legion is also really profitable and definitely more fun. And you have a lot of like, there's no big ticket items that can happen here. You guess you could like open a wealth chest and get an exalted orb or maybe a mirror, but at least if you're Legion farming, you can get like a headhunter with like, it's not that unrealistic, right? It's still really rare and it's like a super pog moment when it happens. But that's not going to happen if you're Delve farming. It's very consistent.
You could just make big ticket items as you're Delve farming. You could, if you're going through the same biome over and over again, you could do it to fund your perfect fossils.
Yes.
To craft your weapons.
Yeah, I'm just saying you can't click one of these fossils and a headhunter will drop.
Yeah, no.
There's no big tickets. It's just very steady high income.
It's not as,
only if you break
exciting.
walls.
Yeah. Like somebody in chat just said, I'm sitting at 480 CNR from glacier farming on LSC at the moment. So there's a lot of things that you can do to make money. I feel like a lot of people, when we're sitting here talking about these like numbers like 300, 400, 500 C an hour, there are players sitting there like, huh? Because they're making like 6 chaos an hour with the chaos recipe or something, right? And they're like, are they joking? Is this some joke I'm not a part of? And it just sounds unrealistic when you are new to the game or you don't know exactly what you're doing. And that's why I try to make a lot of videos and try to show off things on my stream. Even if it's not something I end up doing a lot, it's like one way. Like there was somebody in Delve that was like, Ziz, you know, I was making 10C an hour and then you showed me this. I made a mirror. I made my first mirror this week. Thank you so much.
That's such a good feeling, man.
Yeah, so that's really cool to like show people things. Because like chaos recipe, if you're doing chaos recipe, you're probably poor. I haven't done chaos recipe in like 4 years. Unless it's like a race.
Havoc disagrees. It's like chaos recipe is the Havoc thing right now. It's like min-maxing, get 16 quad tabs,
Yeah,
Like
but
how
that's
to efficiently do
SSF.
chaos recipe. Yeah, that's true. He needs it for pushing. That's but
Um,
also like for Delve, there's other struts to make money in Delve, but it's like higher level play where you just farm at like 239. It starts at 239. You just farm maps. That's really valuable like early on the league. That's what I did last league actually. Like I started pushing.
Yeah.
I really wanted my name on the yellow ladder because I was trying to compensate for something. I don't know. I just really wanted my name up there, right? Like the Delve ladder.
yeah.
And so I was buying scarves really cheap, like day 1, day 2. And I was making so much money, man. Like just tier 16 setting for 35C each. And I was finding like an ungodly amount of those. And yeah, that's pretty valid too. But there's a lot more maintenance going in with
Yeah.
the scarabs and just mapping and all that.
You just reminded me of something that's actually really important to bring up. It's actually not particularly valuable this league, but
Yep.
there is a thing you can find in Delve, which is area drops items 3 levels higher. If you find
Right.
that in an 83 zone, what you can do is you can do flare farming. Now they have nerfed this severely. You no longer gain experience from this, but it still drops items. I did this last league where things like titanium spirit shields, Valregalius, and sorcerer boots were selling for a fortune. It was something like sorcerer boots for 15C, Valregalius for 40, titanium spirit shields for 70 at one point,
Yeah.
and you can infinitely farm these. And I was just competing with the few people that were in maps because finding one of them is can be pretty rare, but you can make a stupid amount of currency in leagues where high item level like regalias and stuff are worth a lot.
I would say though, this is one of the most volatile areas to try and make currency because
It is.
once people like catch on and it just takes a few, it can crash. Like
Yes.
within 5 hours, it can go from 40C to
Oh, yeah.
3C.
It did.
Yep.
It did. But if you get
Yeah.
there really early, and that's like the power of, and this is something you can do by just during the weekend. Like, it's obviously you have a big advantage if you're doing like playing the game full time as a streamer, then you can keep doing it for 5 or 6 days. But if you can be one of the people that are like tryharding the first like 60, 70 hours, and you find an untapped market, you can just make stupid bank, dude. Like I must have made like 30, 40x just from the Valregalias. It was crazy. So yeah, no, there's so many good ways to make money on the game. I would say the most consistent, best way to make money every league is probably just jewels, just crafting and buying and selling jewels, because you have so many people.
Crafting?
Yeah, because you have so many
Like,
people.
how would you go about crafting a jewel? Like what jewels are we talking about here?
Just anything. Like if you know what sells, right? If you're crafting a jewel for yourself, right? Say you're playing like a Cyclone Axe and you're like rolling over most things and just trying to get something specific, that's not gonna be good. But if you're like alt regaling any good combination that'll sell and you know what will sell, you can very easily make money on that. That's how Belton was making. He did like this like rags to riches service.
Belton.
And while you may love or hate Belton, he went from like 10C or something to a mirror in 1 or 2 days just by making jewels. So
I haven't been selling jewel at all though this league. Like I've been crafting a few. I was like doing what you said because this is very good money early, but I haven't sold like many jewels at all. It feels like this league. Maybe hardcore is different though because you die. This is a very repeat league, so there's like recycling.
right.
But I haven't made any money from jewels.
I mean,
this
are we
league.
just talking like searching? Like, are we talking
Just everything,
epic
like,
jewels or just?
not
'cause
literally.
I don't think it's that worth it this league to actually make jewels. They drop pretty plenty, and
That's true. They
I don't
do
know,
drop more
all-
from
all
Legion
like
now.
So expensive this league.
Yes, that
Like,
is
you're
true.
just-
Those prices slightly
6 alts,
fucky.
that's a chaos already. It's
Yeah,
like,
that's crazy.
ooh.
That is true.
So,
Very, very true. It's definitely very worth it picking up things like breach rings, normal rings, belts. I mean, I pick up anything that only takes 1 or 2 salts because I want those alterations.
yeah.
So do you,
I would
do you have
agree
an
with,
alt
like,
on your
previous
filters?
leagues with the dual
Oh,
crafting,
yeah.
but I would say this league, I wouldn't really recommend that this league, because every time I try and like craft some jewels, I get disappointed every time. I really do.
I think it still is worth it because there's so many people who don't know what they're looking for, don't know what to craft, and
Yeah.
getting a good jewel is very expensive. And
It is.
Yeah.
I'd say whenever a new player is following a build guide by somebody, a lot of the time something what ends up happening is they'll see the streamer or build guide creator just like owning the content, and they'll like invest into their build and get pretty much the same stuff but they're not, right? And they're like, what, has the streamer like faked some stats, or like what's the big difference here? And a lot of the case, that is just jewels and flasks. Makes like such a big difference. And a lot of players, like if you're coming from another game or something, you're like, well, how big a deal really is jewels gonna be? Like yesterday or 2 days ago, I had and like somebody just said as well, gems. Yeah, gems and gem quality. Somebody was like, hey, this is my RF build feels like really weak. Can you like take a look at it and show me why? And he had no jewels in an RF build. And that's like where all your damage is coming from, right? It's just jewels. You don't have many damage nodes. So he just didn't have jewels. And that is a massive difference. So I do feel like they are a pretty big like thing.
Like Abyss Jewels where you have like life and onslaught or phasing or unholy might, those like sell really quickly. Or like life and red. That sells really well.
Yeah.
I was trying to craft one of those. I probably spent like 4 whole alterations, didn't hit a single one. I mean, there's a reason why they sell so fast.
400 alterations? Nugi, you could have retired with that.
Yeah, I think so. I'll say this though. Regals are in like they're so common.
Yes.
So
Quite like that actually.
That definitely makes it. That's like an upside at least from crafting jewels that you can just throw away all your
Blast
regals.
orbs too.
Doesn't matter.
Blast orbs where they
Blast
come
orb.
to. I actually, it's so like weird. Like as somebody who's played for so long, where regals, like back in the day when we didn't have like you couldn't do regal recipe because you weren't doing 73 maps, right? Like they were just 73 maps. What are you? Some sort of hardcore gamer? And regals from the base game are very rare, right? Like if you're just doing the base game, you'll probably find like 10 to 20 raw C before you find one regal. But now in this league, it's just like popping out, dude. You get 2. It's going good though. It's really fun.
Yeah. Do you get kicked sometimes, like out of your Twitch server to be like brought on another one? Happened to me sometimes.
Haven't had that happen to me. I think we're back.
Right.
That's really annoying because that means I can't directly upload it to YouTube afterwards.
Oh, you do that?
Yeah, that's why I have the
Upload it.
intro and stuff built into this. So I just like pop it right up.
Wait, why can't you record it while you're streaming? I don't get it.
I'm not sure. I'm guessing it's because like it's different. Hold on. Like the error message I get when I click start recording is starting the output failed. Please check the log for details. No, if you're using the NVENC or AMD encoders, make sure your video drivers are up to date. But this only happens while I have Discord and video chat open. Maybe it's because I have one camera open in OBS and one in Discord. I'm not exactly sure why. But
Needs a fix.
Yeah, I'm not
The
sure why.
quality is like a lot worse from just straight uploads versus
Yeah.
recording.
Yeah. We'll have audio only once up too soon. Should be done already. It's just like hard to set up an RSS feed. Or annoying. But yeah, we are back now. Oh?
Why is everyone spamming F again?
Wait, I think they're joking.
No.
I think they're joking because it's still like showing
It's working for
green.
me.
No, it stopped. It stopped for a second there for me as well, and then I refreshed, and now it's working.
Debated.
trolls.
JK debated. Okay. Okay, chat.
We're back now. I think we're back now.
What were we talking about again?
Monies. Jewels and Nugi spending 10 exalts worth of alterations on jewels.
Oh yeah.
Talking possible crafting jewels.
And regals, yeah.
Wait, what was something regals? Oh, right. Actually, this is another good way of making currency. Because that's one thing I noticed with regals. Every time I help someone with a craft, they give me regals in tips.
Oh, really?
Yes, they also alchemy and
again.
regals.
Stream is dead again, dude. Oh my god.
Really?
Is it though? No, it's not.
You dropped a bunch of frames.
Oh, I see it.
I have 0 frames drop.
Gee,
We need
it's
that.
Twitch.
No,
Sorry
no,
for
it
interrupting.
works. I think it's just Twitch glitching out.
They're just gonna keep spamming F now and again.
No, but you see the view count is erratic as well. You see like 1,000 people drop all of a sudden. So I mean,
no.
maybe like 1,000 people, like
Twitch has been really unstable lately.
Yeah.
Weird. It's usually just the Twitch server. So there was like 2 days ago where everyone's stream was dying. There's no stream was up. So, I mean, you gotta remember, it's a small indie company. They're trying the hardest they can. It's not like it's Amazon or anything.
But yeah, actually, doing services for people can actually net you quite a bit of
A
currency.
lot of money. Oh yeah.
Yes,
A lot of
especially
it.
if you set up a good service.
It
Because people will come back to you as well if they know that you're
And send their
reliable.
friends.
Here, okay, wait. This is a question specifically for Nugi.
Yeah?
Nugi, how much do you think people are charging for crafting service on softcore?
I have no idea.
20C.
I
20C?
charge 20. I charge 20.
Yeah?
That's crazy.
Dude, yeah. Dude, 3 of them is like charges 120C for multi-modding weapons. Like,
Yeah.
That's
Dude, it's
mental.
crazy.
I do it for free for people.
I just want to see what people are crafting.
yeah, but the thing is, like, the league is so cool. So it's like, the league is good. If you want me to leave my map, just bring in the cash, right? It's just like, that's how I think. Just, I'm sure there's someone in chat who wants to craft it from you. Also, I provide a service where, like, I validate the item. I see amazing items all day, right? It's like people having, like, those insane weapons ready to be multi-modded. And I give, like, mega validation. And everyone is super happy. Like, yo, I got validated, dude. That's a service, man.
I guess, but like, I don't know. Okay, so what I normally do is I'm like, you know what? If you can't afford to tip me, that's fine, free, and like people can tip whatever they want. And if someone pays me over 20C, like sometimes people have been like, oh, I'll tip you 30C or 40C, and I'm like, whoa, that's way too much.
Yeah.
Don't tip me 30C for a
Really?
craft. Are you crazy? Like this took me 10 seconds. Don't give me 30 chaos, dude. That's way too much. Like, yeah, like the jewel service. Like the only reason I charge 30C to look at somebody's like lethal pride because it takes me like 20 minutes to look through every single node and let them know what is good, right? And I have actually mostly stopped doing that because it takes so fucking long. But like, oh, dude, like, so yeah, somebody tried to tip me 30C and I was like, that's wild, dude.
So the strat here for anyone is that you can see that there's a market out there when you can get 20C per. So if you're like a really reliable service and you can just undercut everyone, you can make bank. Especially
several
when people
viewers a
figure it
day.
out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You can just be like the guy who's like, okay, everyone's doing 20. I'm doing 19 today. No, it's like crazy how much you can make.
To be fair, in softcore players' defense, there are so many more people playing softcore. So maybe if you just don't want to, like, either just say you don't want to do it or put it up to a higher price. I get that. If you're like, you know what, I don't want to stay here crafting for people all day.
Yeah.
I felt there's a lot more scammers as well in softcore. Like, I don't know why, but I played a lot in hardcore, and I had like overall more pleasant interactions with people. But in softcore, it feels like it's the wild, wild west, where like all the scam attempts that come from all sides. Sometimes there's a guy who has like a trusted bus service. He's gonna scam you out of nowhere. It's not gonna give you your loot and like the thread. Nothing's gonna change. So people are scared. They kind of like want to pay for like extra security, extra premium. So a streamer provides this, right? Where they have a lot more to lose if they scam the item rather than like some guy you don't know. But services is like insane money.
Also, here's something I don't understand. So apparently people are charging 2x to carry 5 emblems. But aren't you getting like a crazy busted amount of XP if you're doing the 5 emblems?
Yep.
Isn't that something you just want to do it for free, just for the XP? Like, I was just doing Tayudas for free for a while, like Pures, because it was so good XP for free. It's like, yeah, I just want to level. This is great.
Boosters, like I know Dawn and Qdog do that, and the problem is like they start. So I remember I was here when Qdog started doing this because he had like this extremely crazy Cyclone character, and it was like, oh, maybe I should be greedy and ask for 1x, right? And he had a queue of people just lining up, like 200 people, me, and so people, I was like, okay, do mine now, and I pay 2x, and so yeah, like there is a lot of people. So in the case of like Dawn and Qdog. They have so many people who want the service that they just cannot keep track or do it for free.
Right.
They have to have like kind of a filter. It's greedy, but it's just like, I don't know. It's softcore, right? It's just
I mean, if it works, I guess.
I mean, do you make the difference back if you pay someone 2x? I mean, or is it just because they need a completion?
I actually don't know. I've never done this. Like, I wouldn't do this. Like, I don't really like dealing with people. So, at least in game. But I think, like if they have a good network of like testing the jewels and knowing where to advertise them, they make this money back. Or kinda, I'm not sure. But yeah, EXP is insane as well. Or they just want like some time on the camera, I don't know. But
Yeah, like I don't know. I feel like it's like for me it's like an ethical thing. Like I try to be like slightly careful and like taking advantage of being a streamer. Like there are disadvantages and advantages.
Mhm.
So you can try to find like a healthy balance. Because you do get a lot of people who are like, wait, are you the real Zizaran? I'll be like, are you still gonna sell to me? And it's like ignored. So oh, great, okay, this guy fucking hates me. So you do get downsides too from being a streamer. But like I don't know, you like I try to find like a healthy balance. I think it's very easy to like take advantage of it. Similarly, like I saw like Counter-Strike
yeah.
Go streamers were signing people's Steam profiles for $20. It's kind of crazy
What?
to
What?
me. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
That's insane.
It's like I don't know. Things like that are like kind of crazy to me.
So where do you draw the line of like the ethic? Like for example, like the fact that I charge 20C for a craft, do you think it's like I'm taking advantage of people, or like you're more talking about like crazy like hands out and stuff like this? Like am I a bad guy? I will change. Like I
No,
listen to you.
No.
no, not necessarily. It's just I don't know. It's a very different economy between hardcore and softcore.
It is. It is.
So
It
it's hard
definitely
for
is.
me to talk about. Like it does seem crazy to me as sitting here in hardcore, right? Like 20C for a craft, like that does seem insane. But I don't play softcore and I don't know what it's like, right? If people, it's not like you're literally forcing people, right?
Oh, I could
Yeah, I'm
have
not.
easily taken. So I'm like, for a long time, I think I was one of the few who had like the full like the top Elrion craft unlocked,
Mhm.
right? I could have just said straight up said 20C for that, and people will pay it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's as a streamer, I don't think that. I mean, if you want to take it, you can take it. It doesn't really matter. I mean, people setting up services, making up threads. I don't really think it matters. It's also your time. Like as a streamer, we don't want to sit there either. It's like
Right.
you have to,
Yes.
you know, because it's like there's also you're taking me out of what we're doing right now.
Yeah, exactly. You cut
So
the
you're
momentum
paying
of the
for that
stream.
service.
Yes. No, I for sure. And like you should just always balance it on how you think it should be balanced, right? But as an example with I was doing a lot of Atziri farming, right? And I think most of the Atziri farmers, this is like 2 years ago or something, started with I think it was 30 or 40C for completion for Atziri. I think this was normal Atziri. This was like super back in the day. And after a while, somebody lowered their price to 20. And I realized quickly that I could still keep my price at 30 or 40 because I was a streamer and people would go to me over another guy. But I still lowered the price because I felt that advantage of somebody paying me extra just for being a streamer was a bit. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna play try to play by like more normal lures. There are a lot of advantages you get regardless. But I lowered my price there regardless.
I think the craziest I've ever done was, remember when there was a shrine? You had to do the shrine map for some completion.
Yeah.
For a challenge.
Divine Shrine.
No, shrine. The map shrine.
Oh.
Killing piety. Like that's when like the old ice piety and all that when she was like super rippy.
Oh, wait, that was a long time ago, yeah.
Right. Yeah. I remember running those, and anytime I got a shrine map, and I had like plenty of them, that was not even a problem. So I profited between 130 to 100C just for putting in my map and inviting people.
Wow.
That
like
was
hosting
crazy.
bridge
I've
stones,
never
yeah.
made that much currency. I made like I don't know, less than an hour. I had like 1,000 chaos just sitting just
Wow.
running the map. I was like, wait, what happened?
The craziest for me, and this wasn't anything related to being a streamer. This was Legacy League, where there were so few people killing Uber Series because the meta had shifted a lot, and every other Uber Series farmer died. Literally, like I remember, like Dan died. Dan like lagged out or something and died, and then Shinra died. Shinra leveled back up and died. Guardian dies. I was the only one farming Uber Series. I was getting like 800C per axe. And I was like, this is great. And I made 5 mirrors in 8 days of farming. And I was like, oh, I've had enough. This is great.
Was it the animate guardian?
Yeah, no, animate weapon.
I remember
Animate
this.
weapon with gluttony.
And Shinra died was like swapping his shaft with his regalia.
Yeah. Yes, that was it. That was it. He ran in with a raw regalia and died. So it was a good time for me. And that was just, boss farming on hardcore can be so crazy.
Yep.
I've had so bad RNG, and that's a good way to make money usually in hardcore is boss farming. However, I have been so shafted. I've done, I think I'm now in like either 65 or 66 Uber series, and I've had 3 axes. And 1 glove. The glove is actually good because
Oh,
it's really
that's-
rare. It's just not as worth it as it was when they put it in the game.
It's really good though.
Yeah, I kept it. I'm not selling it. No way. And I've had 1 Starforge in something like, must be on like 60 or 70 shapers now as well. So
Oh, that's
that's, and
crazy.
I've also only have 1 Dying Sun and 1 Flask. Everything else.
Really?
Yes, I've been completely screwed. It's been so fucked. And like, sure, Dying Sun and Amulet isn't worth that much, but I've been really screwed on Shaper. Uber Elder I've had more luck with. I had a crazy Watcher Side drop today. But like normally like this stuff is nearly insta profit on hardcore, whereas this league I've been like crazy unlucky. And the Watcher Side I did get was, here, I can actually show you real quick. This
For
beauty.
the hatred, precision.
Yeah, it's like the second best
This one-
Watcher Side I've ever had.
Oh yeah.
And for this review, the reason why something like
Oh,
this
it is
is so
bad.
good is because precision and clarity are ORs, and you can reserve for like a
Yeah.
flat, small amount of money. And how is this on hardcore? On softcore, can you make a lot of money from bus farming?
Yeah, you can. Like, you definitely can make money out of bus farming, but definitely more earlier on. If you get like a lucky Starforge, which I did. Like, I think my second shaper got a Starforge, and I was like, dude, let's farm some buses, and then nothing for like 30 more runs, so I stopped. But overall, like, it gets kind of, it's
It
pretty
has
hard
to
to
be
make profit. It's
relevant,
hard to make profit.
The
out
big
of
one
this.
this league, right?
Yeah. Unless, like,
No?
the way I see bus farming in softcore is you're trying to break even somehow and not lose money until you have like a lucky streak. This is the only way you can make money. It's like you break even, you slightly lose money until you get like, a Starforge, until you get like some good stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna try actually next. That's what I'm gonna do next. I'm MFing at 0 right now, but after I'm gonna try like to level 100 character, just doing bosses and see if it's good for money. But yeah, it's also quite depressing for most people. They want to get into boss killing. This is like purely the softcore's point of view, right? Because when you die, you can just come back and you can keep throwing your body at it. So it's not as exciting as hardcore. But like they get into farming Uber Elder and they do like the 8 Guardians and they do the Uber Elder and then the Shaper, and then they have to do it all over again. And sometimes you have runs where for 3 days you get nothing. Like you just get rings, you just get gloves, and on Guardians you get nothing. So those are like days where you waste a lot of time and money. You still make some money out of the monolith, but first you won't sustain maps by purely doing Guardians. And second, like unless you have a good drop, you won't be making any money.
Yeah.
Gloves are worthless. Everything is like pretty much Dying Sun is 20C. It's like it's crazy.
Wow. I think a really nice change they did this league was up the Elder Guardians to be item level 86. I think that was
Yeah.
huge because there's so
Yep,
many good Elder
it is.
bases. I really wish that the Shaper Guardians would be the same.
True. Yep.
But
That's
at
what I was
least
about to
it's a
say,
good
right?
change.
'Cause wouldn't you make the majority, especially early on, of your currency of the bases?
Mhm.
I feel like they're just gonna make so much, because I don't know. When I see like a good armor or a good weapon, I mean, with the prices they've been going for, I feel like, I don't know,
Yeah.
that has to be good currency even of softcore.
Do you know what
it
I...
is like mostly Elder bases. I feel like
Uh-huh.
Shaper base. I've been making quite a lot of money like this because when the news hit that Poirot's Mark wouldn't work anymore with casters
yeah.
and spells, everyone was like drop Shaper. Everyone drops spellcasters. So bases, I've been buying like level 85 Void Scepters shaped for like 20C and like craft them like multi-mod and make a huge profit. But Elder bases, so
Yeah.
when you farm Uber Elder, you get level 86 like Astral Plate. You get like the crazy stuff, and those sell for like
And
quite a
Vol
lot of money.
Axes.
Yeah, Vol
But-
Axes, Exquisite Blades, Flesh Rippers.
Do you know what like crazed me out? So I had an Elder Void Axe drop 86, which is like 3 or something, 5 less DPS, also more attack speed.
Yeah, it's not that much.
But it's like very, very small difference from a Valax. And I went to price check it, and it was 10 chaos.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Jeez.
whoa. And then I'm going to look up right now as well. An item level 83 Eldered Valax on hardcore is 2.8 Exalted Orbs for the best one. So I was like, I'm going to keep this stuff because
Oh,
there
yeah.
is no reason for me to get a Valax for 2.8x when I can get a Void Axe for 10C, right? Because if I get like, say like close to perfect rolls on either, there's going to be like a 10-15 damage
Yeah, it's a
difference,
marginal difference.
right? It's the same, like, and this happened to me back in the day with I had like a 670 or a 690 DPS Flesh Ripper back in Tempest. And I was trying to sell it because I had made a slightly better axe myself. And somebody said, "Why are you listing your shit axe for so much?" It was a Flesh Ripper, not a Val axe. And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, you have a shit Flesh Ripper for sale. It's 690 DPS. Their Val axe is for sale for cheaper." And I was like, "Yeah, but the Val axe is like 630 DPS." "Yeah, but Etub said Val axes are better than Flesh Rippers." And I'm like, huh? Like, it's 50 DPS again, more. I was like, oh, wild. So it's like, obviously, like, it doesn't matter, like, when the bases have such a small difference. And an ideal,
Like the Spiral Foil.
yeah,
Spiraled and Jewel, they're like very, very small difference. And like everyone slips on the Spiral Foil. And everyone's like Jewel.
Yeah.
You can get some good deals like this, like out of nowhere. I got like a
for
very
sure.
insane explodey weapon base like this. But it was not jeweled, it was spiraled, so I just paid 5x instead of 30.
Yeah.
And, it's like the same DPS.
And somebody just said in chat as well, like, but it's better, but it's not, like, right? A 690 DPS Void Axe is always going to be better than a 640 DPS Val Axe. If you are for some reason crafting from scratch, then yeah, and you can afford a Val Axe, sure, that might be 3 damage more or something with the exact same rolls. But it's obviously not worth it. So if you know what you're doing, you can get so cheap, like, base crafts. And you can definitely get like a mirror-worthy Void Axe over a mirror-worthy Val Axe. So people definitely get very meta-slavey. I don't know what it's like on swords. I haven't looked into that, if it's only Exquisite Sword you can do. But I know on, like, yeah, like you said, foils and on axes, you can get some like fucking cheap bargain axes that'll be like barely any difference. Actually, realistically, no difference.
I mean, it's the same thing on even like body armors. Right, you'll have obviously the Astral Plate is
It's
really
huge,
nice
yeah.
because of the implicit, what do you call it? The implicit resist. But people will list glorious plates as well for like almost the same sometimes.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, I should just get that because it's the best armor base, pure armor base. But honestly, if you have to pay 3, 4, 5 exalts for that, and you can go 1 tier down and
Yeah.
pay 10 chaos,
That's what I did.
Why bother?
Yep. That's what I did, because like glorious plates and stuff like that was like 3x, and it's like, oh, Crusader Blade 7C.
Yeah.
I wonder what I'm gonna go for. Who, that 100 armor I'm missing? Oh no. It's like,
Armor is good this league,
it
but still.
is, but it's not 5x good for 100 of it. Like,
this flexibility is like, it takes years of playing the game to like
Yeah.
reach this level where you can like, adapt and just not listen to the words of like your favorite. And
Yeah.
that leads to some pretty crazy like differences in prices. Like you just said, like the Volax and the Flesh Reaper. I mean, that's ridiculous, right? You just have to look at the numbers, a calculator, and just check the DPS is the same and
Yeah.
more actually. But sometimes, like I said, like you just don't want to fail. You just don't want to miss your character or like not brick it. So you just follow exactly to the letter what the person
Yeah.
is doing,
Yeah.
and that leads to crazy prices.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite story like that was that guy. I'll never tire of this story. It was the guy that came into my chat and he was like, "Ziz, your guides are fucking bullshit. I'm following your Cyclone guide to the letter, and I can't even clear tier 2 maps. You're like the worst content creator ever." And I'm like, hold on, let me check your profile. And I open up his profile, and then I was using a rare 600 DPS axe called Havoc Splitter or something, and so was he. He was also using an axe called Havoc Splitter. But he had 160 damage or something on his Havoc Splitter. So he was just hitting with like a Val Axe with like 13 fire damage or something, right? It was like nothing. So he had literally followed it to the letter and even gotten exactly the same rare name. So
That's dedication.
yeah, but you gotta remember, if you're coming from a different game, you might think like it's very similar to Uniques, where it's all about the name of the item. And that's the sort of thing where people get hung up on like the base types and stuff. Like sometimes people are a little too specific. It's like, sure, yes, Valex is the best, but it's also not worth 2x more than a Void Axe or 2x more than a Flesh Ripper. And in a lot of cases, a Flesh Ripper is a lot better than the Valex. But yeah, it's a fun game to know what you're doing, and you can get some like crazy deals for sure.
There's so much new stuff added every league that like, even for us, it's hard to assimilate all the new info. And there's always like some new niches that just appear out of nowhere to make like insane stacks of money. And yeah, this league there's the synthesis was definitely on another level with like all those
Yeah.
bases,
Yes.
like the onslaught boots, the like rings and arcane surge rings and explodey bases. That was like on a whole nother level. But they always add like those mechanics that only serve like super nerds that play the game 10 hours to 15 hours a day, and to keep them into the game. And I think it's a good thing to have like always those niches of money making. But yeah, maybe not everyone shares. I think this league is well balanced, honestly, for money. Like you can
Yes.
do tier 2 maps and make like 500 C an hour
Yeah.
by farming Glacier, or you can get the same amount of money doing some more challenging content. I like it. I really
I
like this
think
league.
this is the best balance they've ever had between. I don't feel like there's any reason to be in Blood Aqueduct. I mean, you can for like some extra gear early on, but like I don't feel like Blood Aqueduct farming is the best. However, I feel like there's a really good balance between like farming tier 2s, super valuable, like spamming tier 2s. Going up to tier 7s or 10 if your build can handle it, also like super good. You'll definitely notice like more splinters, more everything. And farming tier 16s, great, because you're getting so many things as well. So I think this is the only in first league where I felt like there's a really big, decent balance between all the 3 different like tiers.
Yeah, for sure.
And even layouts, like before there was a very clear like priority on like tight, very dense layouts like Underground Sea, Toxic Sewers. But like now it feels like you have to really balance, because I've been
Yes.
running layer a lot, but the monolith spawn are like pretty garbage in layer. So now you can run dunes, you can run strand, you can run city square. City square was great already, but I feel like it balances out like all the tiers, all the layouts, and you can just focus on what you like doing, just like what you prefer, like what gives you the most fun at this point. That's pretty
Oh,
bug.
here's an economy question, especially for Somayd, because you play softcore. Do you buy the incubators on software? Like, is that something you do invest in?
No, I haven't bought to invest yet. Like it would be more for science, but I don't know so much about profit. It's tedious, right? So if you look at one like fully juice, so the juice is like recrafting your maps, quality, art, good quant, vol, and then you have to buy prophecies on top of this, and then sextant on top of this. And if I want to, this is a lot of time. This takes me like 2 to 3 hours a day to trade for 1 day of mapping. And I do this before my stream. I just prepare because like trading streams are kind of tedious.
Yeah.
And I haven't done really experimentation yet with incubators, but that's definitely something I want to get into. And I want to know if, especially for divination card incubators, if the map that you're running impacts in any way, shape, or form the drop of the card, or if it's a fixed seed right when you equip the incubator.
I think it's fixed seed.
It's a fixed seed? Okay.
It's determined upon drop.
Okay.
So depending on where it dropped, which you can't know when you're buying, can you?
No.
You can.
No, I don't think you can. No.
Yeah.
Maybe time loss would be funny to try to get like some headhunter, but like overall, I feel like they've been well enough designed that you just want to put in whenever it drops, and it adds some some pop to the map you're doing. That's how I just use them. Well, I see one, I put it.
Yeah. I actually thought I would hate them. Like when I heard the idea on paper, I was like, I fucking hate this idea. I'm super against them. I really like them now because they're like nice anticipation. Which yeah.
I don't know. I'm very indifferent. They because the thing now I notice all the incubator, what's it called? Icons on the dudes. I'm like, oh, what incubator I'm gonna get? I'm like, it could just drop something nice there and I'll be equally as happy. I guess I get to be excited twice.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice, I guess. It's fine.
I think there is a difference. Because it gives me something to look forward to. I'm looking at it, I'm like, ooh, in like 30,000, I'll get to find out what that is. I do actually like it. I wouldn't want them to change it.
It's not also like sometimes I get surprised by it. Like sometimes just like delving.
Cool.
And you just delving and you don't like, I don't know, I don't pay attention to the bar, like the progression, because I'm so used to having gems there. And I'm delving or something, and then like an item drops, and like, damn, that's an exalt. Where does it come from? It's just incubator. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I just like the extra brush. I just like it.
Yeah. So I'm pretty happy with them. But we've been talking for ages. I didn't even realize. But let's move on to the next topic, which is lab farming. It's something I haven't done in a very long time, and lab farming is generally known as just running Uber Lab over and over again and running lots of keys, and
Mhm.
very often you're carrying people with you for money, which is particularly popular on hardcore, and I'm guessing a
Yeah.
lot of people get it done on softcore as well. I haven't done it in a long time. What about you, Nugi? Have you done lab farming?
I mean, I have a little bit. I've only ever done it for myself whenever I needed something. I've never done it as a service.
Same.
Yeah. I haven't done it in a long time though. I don't mind it. I kind of like running lab. On good days on lab, I enjoy it. When you can get like all the keys and everything, and it gets like you find all the what are they called? The shrines. That's nice. When
For
the
Yeah.
shrines are
challenges
like-
sometimes, you know, but
I hate the challenges for it, but I did one league. I did one league where I literally like carried people through all the time, and on hardcore, on bad days you can end up charging like either like 7C plus the
Right.
fragment or 10C per, because like nobody wants to. If it's a Rippy league and there wasn't that much power creep back then, it would be like 10C per. I remember there was one day nobody wanted to do it. It was horrible. It was like, I don't remember, but it was 15 or 20C per carry, and didn't want to do that many because I almost died every time. So
Maybe that's
obviously
why people
power
didn't wanna
creep,
do it.
yeah, power creep has changed the game a little bit, but still on hardcore there is a lot of people paying for lab carries.
Yeah.
I'm guessing if I like open a public party, I can't see any right now, but
What about profit though?
is
like
very
right now?
profitable. Pretty
Yeah,
much
I guess so.
always,
No,
because
but like right now in this league as well, like with
Yeah.
because there's like no monoliths in there, and I mean I'm sure it's profitable. I'm just not sure to the extent versus other activities.
the fossils, if you get it on a good helmet, like people will want to fracture
Uh-huh.
service it and stuff. So if you
Yep.
get like the malediction reservation enchant or like cyclone attack speed, people will like fracture service it for like a 1 or 2x fee there. So if
Time chain
you
effect, yeah, tornado
Ye-
shot.
yeah,
Second.
there's loads of things that people will try to fracture service. So if you
Mhm.
do hit the jackpot on something good, yeah, it's always super worth it. And there are
Wait, so do
so
you just
many
do you get it
enchants.
and then start servicing with
Yeah.
the fracture stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That-
Just list it for cheap, and then people just contact you. They think you're about to like trying to price fix, but I think you can just put a fractured fossil as a price, and it's gonna show up like first on the line or something.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
and then like you just do a service. You
Yeah.
just like a quad
Yeah.
resonator.
There's several up right now for fracture service on hardcore.
There you go, guys. You see, this is a good tip for anyone if they have one of them lying around. Fracture service your item for big monies.
Like factors are very expensive right now in softcore, I think.
So how do
Someone
people
mentioned,
go
like,
about
5x
doing the whole
earlier.
fracture servers? Like how do you?
I've never used one. I don't particularly think it's
I
worth
think
it.
I think it's kind of like crafting where you can in the vouching thread because there is like a high chance of scammers, I assume.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah,
wouldn't
it's
do it,
very
though.
big chance of getting scammed,
Yeah.
which I feel like the
Uh-huh.
chance of
Or they
getting
can give
scammed is higher
collateral.
on
I guess
softcore.
they can just give collateral
Yeah,
to do this.
it's been a lot of scams lately. I've seen.
Oh yeah. Reckless is a cutthroat place.
Yeah. Did you see the scammer who got scammed today in Game for Life? That was nice.
Oh
The
yeah,
guy
that was
who,
like just like the quiver. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
that made me
It's like
happy.
a taste of your own medicine,
It
dude.
was good, dude.
It's like sweet justice when you see someone who's like, I just don't understand. Like some people just literally spend their day ruining someone else's day. Like you don't know the person's story. Right? Like, what if this quiver was days of farming, and then all of a sudden, like you just spend your days just in the shadows waiting to prey on someone? It's just, I don't know. It's just so bad. It's just so bad.
I
Now
was
you don't know
so
this.
glad.
Yeah, it feels good to see that.
That needs to happen more. I remember like somebody actually tried to kill me once in PoE, like literally tried to PK me. He invited me to a map because he was like, do you want to join for Untainted Paradise? And I was like, how much is it? He's like, free for you. And I was like, oh no, I mean, I'll pay you like 5 or 10C or whatever the normal fee was. And I got in, I was like, this doesn't look right. And then my golem, I thankfully had a golem out and that had already triggered the detonate dead. But there was just corpses around my
Ah,
character. So if I didn't have a
DD.
golem, I would have died because he had left a DD chest unopened. And they used to not trigger until you get close enough.
Yeah.
So if I moved, it would have just instantly DD'd and killed me.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Back on the topic of like lab farming, so I feel like there's like two ways that are very common. There's like the carries like you talked about, and then there's like the 500 move speed Pathfinder, B or
Mhm.
GC miner that just like plays solo, I guess, no carry, and just go really fast to enchant. And there's like a third way I found like pretty funny when I was playing in SSF. There's some people who make like SSF characters just for this because it's easier to compete on the ladder, and then they farm the jewels and they send them over to like Trade League to sell the attribute jewels to like the Molten Strike boys. And yeah, that's a pretty funny one.
Wow.
It's definitely different, but
yeah. Also, how the Fractured Fossil service works is you find an enchant you want. So like a popular one right now is like the ED enchant Malevolence Restoration, and then you get a Fractured Fossil, and the guy uses it. Does it always like keep 4 sockets and 4 links? Is it just the stats it rerolls?
I actually don't know. I never used the service.
No, I think it rolls the sockets as well.
Yeah, I think
You get like a 1 socket and Abyss, whatever duel. I've seen plenty of those around.
True.
Yeah, and you usually pay them like a 1, 2, or 3 XP, and then you like hope that you get a good helmet roll.
Yeah.
But you get the enchant. Sockets stay? Oh, okay.
Oh, they do stay. Interesting.
Unless you use hollow.
That's why you see the hollow ones. Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess you want to use like Fractured, Pristine, maybe Sanctified, and then either Hollow or like an Elemental.
Scamtified.
You gotta get a good roll, man. You only have one try, one shot.
Tier 1 life regen. Fuck, I hit Sanctified, dude. Oh, I feel like it's scammed every time I put in a Sanctified. Nothing nice happens.
I mean, you kind of have to do it though, don't you? When
Yeah,
you do the fractured one. I feel you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
on the PK, by the way, did I ever tell you about like my story about the PK?
No? Go on.
So this is probably my darkest moment. I've never felt as bad as this ever in PoE. So do you remember Sakujo back in the day?
No?
Right. So he was a guy he was around like at the start of PoE, like when PoE released, and he had like he was trying to PK as many people as possible. So he had like PK characters. And he would he had just, there was like loads of threats about him. Oh, this guy is an asshole and everything. So I was like, I mean, that sounds like a bit of fun just to do this, just to try it out. So I went to the party board, and there was like looking for carry or something. Someone was like, he just needed a bit of help doing what were they called? The bandits, because bandits were scary
yes.
back then. They were really scary.
Merciless bandits.
Yeah. So I went in. I was like, "Yo, what's up? Where are you from?" And he was from Australia. Oh, really? Okay. Like, what's for dinner tonight? And he told me what was for dinner. Like, we had a nice little conversation. Like, well, let's go do this thing. And then he clicked help, and I clicked kill, and I killed him. I felt so bad.
Confession.
I was like immediately after, like, oh, fuck, dude, I'm sorry. I can't. Do you need help? Do you need some items? Do I need to? I can boost you, dude. And he just left.
So was that the guy who'd been PKing loads of people?
No. It's just Sakuji was my inspiration.
Oh, I thought you did revenge. That's horrible, Nugi.
No. I wanted to try it.
Oh my god. You're horrible. What the hell? How could you?
I don't know. I had to try it.
You were a monster.
I mean, this was on Norman. He was on.
You even asked him what he was having for dinner, and then you killed him. That's some fucking psycho shit, dude.
Netflix TV show.
I mean, if you do it, you have to do it right.
Oh, okay. That's fucked.
So was that a lesson, and you never did it again?
I've never done it again. I felt so bad.
How do we know?
Experience.
Don't know if I can trust you now. Oh, that's the fuck, dude. Absolutely brutal. What's for wedding? What's for dinner? Nugi sitting there. He doesn't know. Oh, that's funny. I've PK'd people too. I PK'd Nugi. That was fucking great.
You did? Oh, right.
Technically, you're zombies or
Right.
what are they called? Specters.
I'll attribute that to you.
We've already talked about boss
Oh,
killing.
actually, I've actually PK'd one more guy. Remember Martin Creek?
Yeah.
This is really funny. You remember the fire guy, the guy that explodes? You know, so in it was Act 4.
Oh,
So
Act
whenever
4,
you go
yeah,
into
yeah.
Act 4, the guy who's so the Pinker, whatever, who's there now,
Yeah.
it used to be a different guy. It was the Burning Man. It used to be the Burning Man. So there's the Stone Cascade guy now. That
Yeah.
used to be the Burning Man. So you always go next to him. So I was like I was showing Martin, okay, yo, Martin, this league is great. Like the new content is awesome. Okay, follow me here, because like we're going to Malachi. He's pretty dangerous. Okay, so first, Burning Man. Okay, whenever he blows, we need to be really close. The further away you are away, the more damage you take. All
Wow!
the way close, and it just goes bong. And it's like, Nugi, what do you do? And then he clicked his healing potion immediately, which was like a heal over time, but he was still ignited. So his potion stopped and his HP just went. You killed me, Nugi. What did you do?
It's a pattern. You have the whole story, like,
horrible.
you know, just nice. You talk to them, prepare the whole thing. Like, okay,
Yeah.
you're prepared, just nice. This is weird, dude.
You were in
that
my
was so funny.
home. I was. What? You're horrible.
Nice.
It's just some banter, mate.
Dude, that was funny. That was
You're a
funny.
serial killer. You've not only killed one, but you've killed two. You keep asking them fucked up questions like what's for dinner and preparing them.
I mean, you got to get them into you know, you need to make them feel comfortable so they don't suspect it.
Okay, so I need to warn Steel Mage because he was gonna live with you, but I'm not
What, are
sure
you moving to
that's
Belfast?
safe. Yeah. Hmm.
You don't like PvP games either.
I do it in PvP games. I love PvP games.
Have
where
you
people...
ever killed like someone a newbie in a PvP game who's just like killing boars or whatever? Like,
Yeah,
like
but they're
stealth and-
signing up for it. They're in a PvP game. This is a friendly PvE game.
what? This is a dangerous place.
Yeah, with you in it.
I think Chris will be proud of me. I'm just saying. Who made this game, Chris? I think he would be proud. So that's that.
I don't trust you anymore. That's all I'm saying. I've actually PK'd quite a lot, probably a lot more people than you, but it's wild trying to help people and not intentional, and I felt bad every time. I think during Breach I must have killed at least 20 to 30 people. But it was really funny, but I still felt bad.
Like the worst is like when you're trying to help someone, it's like, okay, you enter, you don't move. And like they enter the zone and they run around like in the arena like crazy until they die. And you're like, what have you done? Why are you doing this? Just don't move. I don't know, I was scared, bro. I was scared.
Yeah, Sai killed me as well. But let's move on to our next topic, which is mapping. And it's incredible, like just being efficient in mapping, how much currency you can make,
Yeah.
which is something also like can be hard to like get for a new player, because when you're new to the game and stuff, and the way I used to play the game, I would do the map, then I'd sit around in my hideout for like 5 minutes, like watch something, watch the streamer, just chilling, you know. But like when you move from that to just like not picking up a lot of loot, like there are, okay, this might seem hard to believe, but there are actually people who use multiple portals to just go back into the map and loot. Right? They'll use 2 or 3 portals, just they'll go back in, they'll pick up 6 items, go back out, go back in and loot more. This actually happens. People do that. And that seems like wild to me and a lot of other people who play efficiently. But if you're like barely picking up a lot of items, like you do like less than 1 inventory and you don't do chaos recipe, you're just like quickly farming. And I have a full video on this, which I call the efficiency video, which I'm going to update because it talks about Dried Lake Merciless and stuff. But it's sort of like playing a slot machine, right? You're just going for those big ticket items. Comb's Heart, Exalted Orbs. I kind of feel like Exalted Orb drop rate's been up to this league. I might be wrong.
I think
Oh, yeah.
But
you're right.
I have, what, 22 Exalts in 5 days or something? Like, it's been wild. I usually don't have that many.
The
But
Legions drop them like so often.
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, definitely if you're like speed farming legions.
Yeah.
So it drops a lot, and yeah, if you're being very efficient, you're not gonna get like those like small drops, but you're gonna get a lot more big ticket drops like Combs Heart,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it definitely does pay out. Like what you do is you have like dump tabs. I usually don't anymore. I'm like too lazy now. But dump tabs is really good.
Yeah.
And pre-rolling your maps, having like no downtime between maps. There was a wise man called Havoc that once said, "Don't complain about being poor if you're staying more than 30 seconds or more than 1 minute in your map between in your hideout. Sorry, between maps. Because if you've seen like Havoc min mapping, he'll put in the new map as soon as he's out and bank things in that small period while the new map is loading, right? So if you have no downtime, you make crazy amount of currency." And it puts a very big difference between players who are like chilling or players who are like playing
Yeah.
efficiently. And yeah, especially that with like Legion and yeah, dump tabs is huge.
I feel like you can still find like a nice balance between like always playing under pressure, because there's a lot of people who just play just chill.
Yeah.
But I feel like playing chill doesn't mean that you have to play very inefficient. So there's like two ways. Like sometimes we all love like no downtime Monka S. You just put your map in again. When you're out of your map, you just put a new map, you loot, you put everything in your quad tab, and you go again. But this is pretty exhausting, like to do this 15 hours a day.
Yes.
So, but I still feel like
Yeah.
there's like a few things that make a large difference, which is like economies of scale with crafting big batches of maps. So you never have to like individually think about
Yes.
every map mod and filter in the quad tab or in the map tab. And a very good filter that you make yourself, so you know exactly what's in there. And I feel like if we can teach players to like get more into making their own filters that suits their own like taste, like overall like people will be like richer.
Yeah.
And not like pick every like random studded belt that's like level 69 or something.
Yeah. Like going back in and picking up everything, like you're gonna have a lot of ults and stuff, and ults are worth a lot this league, but picking up like so much less and just picking up like focusing more on like the rings, amulets, those are like very easy to be worth something. But like the chance for that like glorious plate or that crusader plate you picked up to be, I don't think I've had chests on my filters for like 3 years now. But like the chance for that to be worth something is just never gonna happen. It's just not happening realistically.
I've seen people like having several like trade tabs, and they don't even check. They just identify everything and just dump it in tabs. And like if people contact them for it, like it's good, so you don't have to price check. But yeah, it's so rare to find like a good ring or a good amulet.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely like, yeah, I'd say the biggest tip that you gave as well was pre-rolling maps. That's something like everyone
Yeah,
should
that's
do.
a big thing.
If you're rolling
do.
each map between each map, I think I don't really ever do that unless I'm like super chill lazy, but I'm like, I don't care anymore.
I think making your character able to do as many mods as possible, making like simplifying the process of actually running or rolling the map and then also being able to run it is something that can be really big if you're like looking for a build that needs to make currency. Because if you can make a build where you can just alch and ball, and that's like the only thing you do, just alch and ball, that's like the least amount of effort for the most amount of return, I feel like.
Yep, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And it simplifies your like the way you map so much. Because if you do ED doesn't suffer from a reflect. I mean, there might be, if you could do every map mod essentially, like the big ones are generally no regen, minus max, and the 2 reflects. If you're like safe from all of that, I mean, you're golden.
Yep.
And it saves you so much time from never having to actually look for the mod. If you see like 6 damage mods, maybe re-roll that one. But otherwise, it's like you don't see anything out of the ordinary, go.
I
And
feel
it saves you
like
so much time.
something people don't reroll enough in the last 2 leagues, like this one and the last one, is LMP. And I saw, I've seen people talking
Yeah,
about
it's
people's
pretty
deaths, like, oh
scary.
man, he died and there was no damage mods. And I was like, there was LMP on there. And like there was one death Rise had, and he died in Toxic Sewer, and people were saying, "Oh, I had no damage mods." So I was like, "It was LMP and poison. They're like some of the most dangerous mods to have on a map. What do you mean there's no damage mods on there? That's wild." Like, LMP is something I haven't run a LMP map unless I'm like in a SSF race and have literally no choice. Like, I'm out of currency and the map is corrupted. Sorry, LMP is lesser multiple projectile. So every monster that fires one projectile will fire 2 more, which is like super deadly. In Synthesis, it was like you are dead.
Triple damage.
Yeah.
Yep.
In Synthesis,
actually
it was
triple
just
damage.
like goodbye to your character. And in this league, it's crazy on so many other things too. There was a guy in today's Gamer for Life running LMP and crit, the brave fellow, in a tier 16 on hardcore. And he's just, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but he's running up in a Minotaur map, I think, and you see like
And running
7
back down
spare
again.
throwers, and he's like, "Oh no!" He's like, "You're not welcome here," and they just like one shot him because they're not gonna miss with LMP and their crits. So yeah, he just like vaporized.
Wrong neighborhood. Just blah. Yep.
Yeah, basically. Like, there's a couple of things I always reroll on hardcore. I always reroll LMP. I always reroll crit and min max. That's like, I just don't roll those mods anymore. It's just they're busted with the way the game scales with aura scaling and stuff already.
I ran LMP on every single character I did this league, and I haven't died to it.
It's so scary. It's definitely still one of the most dangerous mods. Not as bad as last league, but
It is
so
dangerous.
scary.
For sure.
Yeah. I'm scared of it. And poison as well, I feel like is most of the time
Poison
fine,
immune.
but then sometimes you die. Yeah, but like I can't
Same with
run
the
poison
ignites,
immune
though.
on my Herald of Agni.
Hmm?
I can't run poison immune on my Herald of Agni. I need to use the jewel and poison myself.
Oh, you're doing it that way.
Mhm.
I see.
So you can't always do that. That's actually really rippy in tier
That's true.
16s.
Yeah, yeah.
And things that hit really
Yeah.
fast. Like I died to Bameth with poison as well. Like,
Oh yeah, if you don't have poison immunity, it's
Yeah.
really scary if they stack them up on you.
yeah. It's like,
Sure.
But yeah, we've talked about all the trading topics quite a lot. Did you want to talk about the race?
Did I want to talk about the race?
Yeah,
Sure. Did you not want to talk about the race?
I do. But you were the one who suggested it, so I thought it was a good way to introduce the topic.
So
Yesterday.
yesterday,
Sorry. Okay,
Yeah,
you go on. You go on,
racing.
Nugi.
right?
Let's
So
do it.
yesterday we had the Kammell Race to 80 with a golden ticket, where the prize was an invitation to Exile Con and an invitation also to the finals at Exile Con. And it was great. So
That's
we
really
had I probably shouldn't spoil for those who haven't seen it. I would say go watch the race. It's a pretty good race. Lots of cool strats being utilized. I mean, I guess we can talk about the strats, but we probably shouldn't announce the winner,
Yeah.
right?
I ended up playing Stormrun Hierophant just because I've been so busy with like Twitch content and especially YouTube content for a change that I haven't had time to practice. It was like kind of too early in the league for me to have time to practice. So I just wanted
did
to
that
race
go?
with something I was comfortable with, and it went remarkably well. I was like 3rd, 4th, and 5th for quite a lot of the race. I fucked up a little bit, and I started having strength requirement issues for the
for the steel
skin.
skin?
And I just
Mm.
right clicked it, but then forgot about it. I
Oh, no.
probably had enough strength to level it 2 or 3 more levels, which might have saved me, because it only
Maybe.
saved like 200 or 300 when I used
Yeah.
it. So I got hit for around 2.2k. So I'm guessing that's a crit, because I don't think they do normal hits for 2.2k. So I'm
I think they
guessing
can. I think that's
Normal?
like maybe that's completely unmitigated. I don't know if you had any armor or anything.
I think my run would. I'm not sure, but either way, yeah, that does seem like at least a very high
That's
hit
very high. Then.
or a crit. So I wasn't
Yeah.
really expecting it. It was like while I was loading out still. Like for example, if I was American, I would have lived there because the load timer starts so fast that you're safe.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously being at EU is slight disadvantage. So I died while clicking on the loading there to Kitava. Other than that, like I had really, really fun. It went well. And I tried doing a slightly different strat than others. With early
Which
on, I
one
was
was?
spamming Legion. I opened every Legion from like level 5, I think. Because I was looking for uniques and incubators.
Mm-hmm. Was it worth it?
Yes. Early on at like the level 1 to 7, I think there's only like 20 uniques you can get, most of which are useful, like MS boots, Nocturnal gauntlets, so many good ones, and Tabitha. You have a massive chance of getting a Tabitha, which I didn't get. However, at the in Imperial Gardens, I found 2 uniques, and one of them was a Barracks grip. So I was like, oh my
that's
god,
good.
that is wild. Like, that is such a like Hail Mary thing. That was why I was like so high, even on like a sort of off meta now build. Because it does have very little damage, but obviously this solved that. So very, very lucky. It was just farming so nicely through the entire game. And oh, I also got an Axiom Perpetuum really early on. So I was like, I'm switching to
I had
Scepters.
that was a
This
crazy
is
one.
great.
To hit.
But that's actually very common to get that early because it's one of the few things that can drop. Oh, and Dust Toe. So like, there's so many good uniques that you can get.
Yeah, nothing good either.
And yeah, I was just flying through the game, and it was just going faster and faster. And I didn't have adrenaline, and I was still top 4. So very happy with that. Like
Kammell didn't have adrenaline either.
Yes.
I don't know. People didn't have the best of luck this time. So I mean.
Mm-hmm. And you were doing melee?
I was doing melee.
How did that go?
That went. There was the worst RNG I've had in a long time. So that was frustrating. I had and I was really trying to farm. I had a 2-link to pretty much all the way through Act 3, I think. But I don't know. It was like weird. No. Until like the start of Act 2. Then I was on a 3-link all the way throughout the rest of it.
God.
Yeah, all the way until I died on Malachi.
And do you feel like with like better luck, melee would like what's the standing right now? Is melee buffs are enough to just take over spellcasters in Stormbrand, or is it still like behind for race?
I mean, it's as good as Stormbrand because I don't think Stormbrand is that good.
All right. Is it like more gear reliant or?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the micromanagement of melee is like absurd because you have to swap your weapons all the time, and there's like 4 auras you want to run, and that's like you need the totem and that's just every time you have to swap anything out of your weapon, you have to like re-enable it in your bar and everything, and like the bar slots are not saving, and you have to like rearrange it. And I was like,
you lose so much time on stuff like that.
Yes.
And I feel like you need more weapon upgrades more regularly than you do for caster.
You really do.
So you lose so much time for that. I think it's gonna be hard for melee to beat casters just because of stuff like that.
Yep.
I am trying to maybe come up with an idea. So what I'm thinking is, how do you combat that? Well, you need to run like all the stuff that gives you flat damage, and then see if you can survive on, say, you just look for links. You don't actually you just look to upgrade the links, and then the base item, and then whatever you have to like throw on there, and you don't really care about really crafting it. And so you could go like siege axe into the next tier, and you just make sure you pick up the ones with the links on them.
Yeah.
And that becomes the priority, so you're always set on your links. I think that could work, maybe. And then running like Herald of Purity, Rage, Chance to Bleed, all that has like flat fizz. EQ has flat fizz as well. So you might actually be able to make a build that kind of plays like a caster, because you never need to like really upgrade the weapons, and you just kind of like use the gem levels.
What's good about EQ as well is like it's one of the rare melee skill that has lingering damage, because that's what makes certain skills, like certain caster skills, so good for racing. It's like there's lingering damage. Like you just press it once, and then you can move and do your inventory management, and you still do damage and kill stuff. Whereas like for most melee skills, if you stop pressing your damage button, you cannot do anything. You just cannot. So I feel like Earthquake is probably like in a very good spot for this.
Earthquake is very good. I did. In my practice run, I got to maps, and I got a little bit lucky on those weapons. But I feel like with better preparation, I could get to like the same spot, and it was pretty much just tap once, and the entire room blows up. That was the feeling of it.
That's good.
Like when I was mapping in white maps, at least. So it was really strong. Like once you get it to maps.
Didn't you feel like super
Getting in
squishy because I
there.
started this league as
No.
melee and it felt so squishy, man.
No.
But I didn't know it was all new, right? So I was not using really like steel skin or the sense like the sense stance.
So like just flesh and stone makes like any build
Yeah,
so
Flesh and Stone
tanky
is just
now.
like
That's what I was
Flesh and
doing.
Stone is so sick.
I didn't even use my Neuromatter on my Hyro. I literally just, I was like, I'm gonna go do Mom for 200, or I'm gonna throw in Flesh and Stone for the 400 IQ play and save a skill point. Nice.
it kind of
Mom is it's like the same trap as Acro this league. It's not worth it. For like almost all builds, it's just unless you're specifically running a build where Mom is like a key part of it, I think it's just not worth it. You put Flesh and Stone in there and it's better than Mom.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you can do Acro and Flesh and Stone.
Sure, you can do that. I'm okay with that.
What do you think about arrow dancing? I feel like it's especially now for this league with all
It's
those
kinda-
projectiles.
Yeah.
Pretty insane.
Yeah.
Like arrow dancing.
Someone asked me
plus-
that question early in the league, and I couldn't give him a reason why it was a bad idea.
Yeah, it's just 1 point. It's there on like most, like evasion part of the trees, like most evasion part, like the skill tree. I'll try that. I haven't tried it yet, but I feel like Acro, Phase Acro, Flesh and Stone plus arrow dancing should be pretty tanky on something like a Trickster. Goddamn.
Yeah.
Oof, I don't know, man. The whole on a Trickster with Acro, Phase Acro, I'm
Oh,
okay
yeah.
with the Phase Acro off the chest, but Acro on a Trickster, I don't know, man. I don't like that. I really don't. I'd rather just
Yeah.
have like way more, like a way higher life pool.
It depends. In SSF, I felt like I just couldn't get good enough ES gear. So I was like, I'm being kind of unlucky on ES gear. So I just like focused on Acro and Face Acro. And I instead went for, I think I had 66 or 64% attack dodge. And 62% spell dodge. And it's like,
Yeah,
this
that's pretty
feels
good.
great. And then Marika threw pocket sand at me and I died.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? When it goes through, you
Yeah.
just blow up. So.
Yeah.
Feels bad. Also, Nugi, check Discord when you have time. And yeah, no, it was. It's not always the easiest to get like the decent defenses. I was talking to Ventura afterwards, and he was like, "You probably should have gotten Mom for Kitava and dropped Flesh and Stone there." And I was like, "Yeah."
Who said that?
Ventura, and I kind of agree. On Kitava, it would have helped me a lot. Although, even on those like Kitava heralds, which is what killed me, the blind does help a lot.
Yeah, it really does. Because I was doing in my practice run, I had it on, and I mean, but that's the thing, right? Now you're relying on blind and the evasion, and so if you get unlucky, there's the chance of just blowing up versus making sure that you can't get one shot. So I mean, it's a tough choice.
Yeah. Yeah, it is so much defense, and it's so good because even things that aren't being blinded are doing less damage to you. So it's straight up mitigation there too.
Yeah.
It's kind of a too strong aura for 25% because it's a Saboteur Ascendancy in a 25%
Yeah, it
restoration.
is. It's...
Wait, Nugi, did you check Discord?
Right. I mean, yeah, it's fine by me.
All right. Awesome. I think that's. Is there anything else you guys want to say about the race? Somayd, you said you were going to start racing again now that you're going to have a better connection, right?
Yeah, like I'm moving to Poland to join my QT, not Rice QT, another one. So I'll live in Warsaw next month. And like the problem, like I live in the forest here, so I actually stream on 4G. I have a 4G router like behind me. It's
really?
a disgusting setup, and it's very unstable. And
Wow.
so, yeah, like right now I just practice. I do practice runs on like a secret account because
You're
it
streaming
just-
from
I
your
just-
phone?
No, for the phone, I get a router.
No, I'm
I
just
get
kidding.
SIGs and all this. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're trolling. And so it's very unstable. Like last Kammell Race I did, I actually died because of a DC on stream. So I was like, all right, let's give up for now. It's just frustrating. I'm just gonna look like a clown. But so Nismat, my fiance, is already in the apartment. We got a place there, and we got very, very good internet, no packet loss, 28 pings on Frankfurt. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna like practice again, playing lockstep for the first time in like 5 years or 4 years, and yeah, really looking forward to it. Just
And when you have like a stable connection, are you going to return to hardcore or are you staying in softcore?
Unlikely, honestly, because like my streaming style makes it so I get super distracted.
Mhm.
I guess it's all when you start building a pool of like people who watch you.
Yeah.
You attract a certain type that's like They come here for like a certain type of content.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I play HC, even though I like it, like HCSSF is probably one of my favorite game mode, but I have to focus a lot more on the game. So like my chat interaction just goes down the drain, and then it's just not fun for anyone, right? So I adapt, and I still play every league in HCSSF, but I tell people in advance, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna play HCSSF. That's how it's gonna go. It's still incredibly fun, but what I want to do really is just like do my softcore streams and practice for races and just do whenever there's an event, right? For example,
Yeah.
when you did the race, the Shaper race, it was so incredibly fun, man. The LMP Shaper, that was so cool.
That was fun.
Like stuff like this, and just be ready for this, because I get to experience hardcore and like the thrill and like the heart, like pumping because you're almost dying, but then have a more chill, like just fool around with my chat when I'm just streaming softcore. Find the money
Nice.
strats and just have fun.
Yeah, I mean, I died today too, like telling a story. Like Denmark killed me today. I was talking about my girlfriend and her name in Danish versus Norwegian, and then suddenly Maligara one hit me, and I was like, "What happened? I was looking. What happened?" It's just level 40, but still, sucked.
Dying while leveling really sucks. Like you're just super ready, like you want to try the new build, like yo, this is gonna be fun, and then you die, and you have to like Wanderlust, and like, oh come on.
Yeah, I just gotten rid of my 7 league step to use the Lion boots. So I was happy. Sadly, I lost a +1 Tabitha on an attack build that doesn't need a +1 Tabitha. Don't know why I had one on. It's annoying.
I need a +1 Tabula.
They're so nice. They're so nice for leveling. I really want a +3 Tabitha. They'd be so Gucci.
So do you plan any? Are you guys planning any race, like method race, like later on this league when it's kind of like dying off, or Yes,
I'm working on a lot of stuff. I'm very overworked.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. Just
very overworked. But yes, there will be stuff. That should be fun. I don't have 20x, but yeah, we can do like a quick like Q&A and stuff at the end. Oh, I didn't realize that it went over my frame. But yeah.
How much time have we gone through?
We have done 2 hours and 20 minutes, which is pretty
already?
long. Yeah. I thought today would be a really short one, like an hour one, but it's been a really, really fun podcast.
We do like a quick fire, I guess.
Yeah. Does anyone have any specific questions? Oh, when do you do something different than Alk and Go, Jacob asks? And Alking and going is actually great if you can do it. Like, it's pretty hard not to make money with Alk and Go, because you're gonna get something back from the map that'll sell. Either you'll get pure Alks back or something that'll sell for Alk or more. So on trailer, you can run out of Alks on SSF, which I'm sure Nugi has run into a lot. Like that can happen. You have to be very careful with taking up a lot of uniques and stuff, and you'll end up doing conversion, like turning your regrets into Alks and stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel like Somayd can probably answer this question a lot, because he's done a lot in investing lately with chiseling and sextants and stuff. So if you want to talk when you don't Alk and Go.
So the don't Alk and Go would be like case by case. For example, there's a very good map that's super open layout, low tier, very well positioned on the Atlas, City Square. And City Square is like in this situation where you have 3 bosses. And the Alk and Go, you kind of want to add a layer of volleying and kill the bosses there. So not only you can like monolith farm, but also kill the boss and get some Aziri fragments. That's some extra income. And even just 1 fragment is going to be more expensive than a Val Orb. So I feel like in this situation, especially if you play ED, you have nothing to lose pretty much to just like Alk, Val, and then Go. Because now that, it's just, I feel like Alk, Val, and Go is a very good thing to do, depending on the map, especially if you want to kill the boss. And then it depends, like the higher you go in tier, the higher it is to sustain the map. So this is when you start chiseling, and then like using prophecies and like recrafting your map. But overall, like on low tier maps right now, I feel like just Alk and Go is super fine.
Yeah, it's very hard not to make money from that.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's going to cost you 1 map that you will sustain most likely if you shape your Atlas for it. If you just adjust your Atlas. And just in 1 monolith, there is no way you make less than 4 or 5 chaos. Like, you can literally not make the money back. It's impossible. So in this situation, I know that lots of people like just the grind of just doing 1 map after the other. I know I love it. And yeah, there's just money going up. It's just pure money going up. No headache. You just craft 50 maps, just Alk 50 maps. You play ED, so you don't have to read the map mods, just like Nugi said earlier. And that's it. You just go.
Yeah. I normally only chisel from like maybe early at like 11s, but like later only like 13s and up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, same.
Unless
Like,
I'm
chisel, same
farming
thing.
div cards. If it's like a lower map with good div cards,
Yeah.
chisels are cheap right now.
Yeah.
Or
I
if
think
you're
chisels
using
is
Magic
something you
Find.
should always add.
Mhm.
One like if you're like at a higher level, you should always add chisels to your maps, even if you're doing the Algen goal, if possible.
Yeah. Also, if you're playing with a friend, like if there's two of you and you're spreading the map cost, probably always chisel. And probably always, like, if you're like splitting the cost of everything between two people, it's probably always worth sextenting and chiseling. Because that 50% extra quant on that map it's huge. So
is.
you're always gonna find it worth it. Did you guys see any other questions we want to answer?
Someone asked me where am I gonna live in Warsaw. I don't really want to dox myself, so I'm not gonna answer. But it's
Give
a
us your address.
Alright,
Forehead. What extra programs do streamers recommend? POB, of course, but others have seen other streamers use like vast value stuff. What program is that? I actually don't use that. What's it called again? Price check
Excellence?
macro?
Oh wait, no.
Yeah, I recommend Loga macro. I smash my macro. Excellence. What's that? I actually don't even know
Excellence,
what
I
that
think
is.
something to track. So to track your
I don't know what that is, to be honest. I can't really comment on it. Trade macro. I don't really use anything like that. I just use Loga macro and POB.
I don't trust all the macros anyways. You can use it for uniques and such. That's kind of nice if you're like uncertain. But anything, I don't know. When you go to like rares and such, you can get like all over the place. And also, does it even take into account all the trade macros? Does it take into account price fixing at all? Like, could you?
I think it tries somehow, but
Yeah?
it's kind of like there is a part of it. It's like an algorithm, kind of like an AI to try to price check stuff. It's not very accurate at all. Like I know so many people. Yo, I sold this item for 20C, but it was more like 3x. I was like, yeah. So it's good for uniques, I guess, and there is some ways of kind of curbing price fixing when it's kind of under control. But right now in softcore, it's out of control. It's just off the hook. There's like walls. Like the first 100 offers of any unique is gonna be price fixed. It's it's bad. So I would not really recommend like trade macros right now. I just really wouldn't. Just I don't know what to do though. I don't know what to recommend.
Lolash is asking, is there an off-meta skill you'd like to see buffed or improved next league? Something you've always wanted to build around, but can't make it more competitive.
Static strike.
I think static strike. Oh wait, why I'm mixing it with lightning strike? I don't think I've ever even seen static strike. I don't even know what it does.
It's the one that like periodically shoots out. It got a little better, but it's still like, oh, man. It's like between having to like hit the attack with the strike and then I don't know. But it got improved. Static strike with the shockwave. I'm gonna try it at some point in this league.
I really miss Flame Blast racing. I think Flame Blast was one of the more fun metas the game has ever had. You would just do like a tiny Flame Blast and you would just pro lift the entire screen. It's like putting people on fire, you know? It's just good old fashioned fun. So I really miss Flame Blast. That was like one of the more fun metas the game's had. So that's what I would want them to bring back in the future. I didn't like Fire Trap particularly much.
For me, it would be Discharge. I feel like Discharge has always been like they're always been super safe like regarding Discharge, even though they buffed many things over the years. Like Discharge, I feel like is still like they're very cautious with how they buff Discharge. I feel like the AOE it's struggling. I'm maybe going to try and make it work this league, but yeah, Discharge is like this thing about it where it's just a funny way to build around it, like charges. There's like a lot of different interesting uniques, mechanics, ways to build it. You can go Assassin, you can go Juggernaut, you can go whatever. So yeah, I definitely miss like the good old days, like even like the Kriparian burning Discharge Templar back in the days. I don't know. I feel like it's an iconic skill that's could get some.
It's a very cool skill.
Someone just asked, explain price fixing. I will happily do this. So for example, right, an example even of price fixing is this shaped titanium spirit shield here. There's very little price fixing in hardcore, but this guy at the top here, actually down there, will not sell you this titanium spirit shield. He is trying to buy his own titanium spirit. Yeah, I bought one earlier. So he's just listed this at 24 kills. So if you're a new player, like say Mr. Davenport, he finds the titanium spirit shield, and he's like, okay, well I see an item level 82 spirit shield listed at 24C. I guess I'll just undercut him for 22C. And as soon as you list yours for 22C, this fucker right here messages you because he wants to buy it, right? That's why they do them. And people do this. It's a lot more common on softcore than on hardcore. There's very rarely we see this on hardcore. This is probably the second or third time I've seen this on like anything I've actually wanted to buy myself. But it happens a lot on things like Combs Heart and like a lot of like good things in softcore that people just like list them sometimes with like a bunch of items. And there's another way of price fixing that's very normal and happening a lot lately, which is it'll be some shit item. Like what's the avian boots called?
Oh yeah, the flight. Wait,
Avian
something flight. I think I'm not sure.
flight? No,
No.
I can't remember. I wonder if they're being price fixed right now.
See, it's so rare no one even remembers. Even though we
Talons.
play 15 hours a day.
Right.
Yeah, it's like Talons. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So Sacawell's Talons. Right. There's none for sale right now. Wait. What? Why is there none for sale? Oh, because I'm searching for shaped ones. Okay. Right. So not really accurate this league, but last league there were very few for sale. Right. There were, for example, 8. There were something like 7 or 8 for sale. So what one group of people did, they bought up all 8 Sacawell's Talons. I had one for sale, so they tried to buy mine too. And what they do then is they put all of these up for 5 or 6x. And you might be sitting there thinking, but nobody's going to buy these for 5 or 6x, Zizaran. And that's correct. However, what they then do is they message somebody that have a Combs Heart or a Shavs or something that is worth something. And they go like, hey, will you swap your actually expensive item for my Sacawell's Talons? These are worth 5 exalted orbs. And then you as a new player, like, oh wow, my item's only worth 3x, but this is worth 5. Pee-wee Trade says so. And that happens a lot. So never swap for items unless it's somebody you literally trust.
I fell for this like years ago, actually. Like, this is not new. Like, I fell for this like literally 5 years ago. Felt pretty bad. But
for anyone who wants to know how to like get rid of some of these people, I don't think you could do it on Pee-wee Trade, but if you go on pathofexile.com/trade and you log in, you can just click ignore player, and he'll never show up again. I'm pretty sure that works that way, right?
Yeah.
And to bypass price fixing, what you could do is like you either just scroll down the list until the price is like makes more sense. You'll see like you'll notice a difference, or you can just set up an auto search, auto search, and you'll get pinged with like the price that people put the item for sale. So maybe you can do this. Like you have an item you aren't sure it might be valuable. Just go and do the auto search and the live search, sorry. And maybe you'll have like a better idea of what your item is worth.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Also, another common scam at the moment, I want to just warn because there's a lot of new players watching, is, for example, on buying a Star Forge, people put in a Void Forge. So always make sure you hover over the item, especially when buying Prophecies or Enlightens and Powers. Make sure you look at it. And when trading as well, sometimes if you're buying something or selling something for 7 Exalted Orbs, people will put in 1. 1 and 7 can look a little bit similar. Make sure you like take it 10 seconds extra and really pay attention to what the other person's trading you. And something that's very common is they'll put in the proper amount, but then cancel trade, and then in the next trade, put in the wrong amount. If someone cancels, I'm like, is it happening?
Always double.
Are they out to? Are they? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm watching. Oh, okay. It was just an honest mistake. But sometimes, if it cancels, I'm on like high alert. I'm like, oh, this fucker's trying to get me. So
I feel so bad when I make a mistake myself and I have to cancel or something. And then shit, is he gonna think I'm a scammer?
Yeah,
now?
You put the wrong item by
Did I do
accident
it
because it's
wrong?
like the same dual name. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm a toxic trader right now.
Yeah, like same with like sometimes, like I was selling a jewel one time and I sold it and like 5 minutes later the guy's like, you gave me the wrong jewel. I was like, oh shit, it was just 2 with the same name and I didn't like see, but I was just swapped it around. But yeah, there are a lot of scams out there. That's definitely, especially for you softcore boys, it is extra wild out there this league.
Yep.
A lot
Take
of
1
scams.
second of like looking at what you put in and what he put in before clicking accept.
Yeah.
If anything changes in the window, you have to like re-hover over and accept. So
Yes.
it's like
Just make sure you take those extra 10 to 20 seconds and pay attention. Yeah, Mercury trade's
especially
supposed
when
to
you
be
do
good.
big trades.
Yeah. Yeah, just be careful. Like, I'd rather people know about this because there are so many people doing it. There is a lot less of this on hardcore. Like, people reply really fast too. If you want to like have a really good trading experience on hardcore, message the Russians. Like that.
Oh, God, the
Like
Russians
that,
are
dude.
so good.
They reply so good. Let's see. He's been asking this a lot now. Let's see. About trading. What if you had a trade tab in your hideout in which you price items and people that whisper you can just buy them from there? It just sounds like an automated auction house. I don't really want to discuss auction houses.
Yeah.
I'm kind of bored of that discussion. It's been 4 years. But yeah, I think that's like.
Koreans are good
Oh,
as
wait.
well, apparently, to message, by the way.
But a lot of them are new and don't have good trade
They
etiquette.
don't.
The etiquette, not just
Yeah.
Sometimes
nice,
they like go in your map and shit.
Oh, so that's more of a gamble. If you want to have a little bit of excitement in your life, just message the Koreans.
Suddenly, you're finishing your Minotaur. Suddenly, it just pops in. It's like, hello, what's your item? It's like, I'm like finishing up this map.
Is this it? Am I in the right place?
You're
Hello?
not. So, yeah. Let's see. What was the other one? What is your guys' opinion on the fact that Shaper and Elder items from Uber, besides Starforge, are so crappy valued compared to other leagues? Are they even really worth running anymore, besides for once in a blue moon viable watcher size? That's definitely a little bit of the... Okay, so they are sort of worth it still, because like Dying Sun, the Amulet, and Starforge are like crazy worth it, right? And the gloves as well. They are all good items.
Softcore.
But they're
They
like...
probably aren't.
But like they're still good items for making builds. They're just not worth it
that's true.
currency wise.
Sure.
Is what I'm
And
trying
the
to
price
say.
is like the amulet and the flask are just like
Yes, they're not
Super
worth
cheap.
it currency wise, but they're still really strong for builds. They're
True,
just not
true,
what
true.
the current meta
Yeah.
is, right? The only item which I think should be changed a lot is the boots, because I think that's very outdated.
Yeah, they are.
100%.
Like there, I don't see, even if there was a big meta shift where EK is suddenly the number one skill, I don't think I would be using the boots to solve any sort of piercing problem, right? They're a very outdated item after the nerf that just aren't going to be particularly useful. We have so many other good ways of solving any problem that the boot solves, and then I'd rather have really nice life 30 ms boots. So I do feel like the boots should be buffed and changed. Every other item, I feel like that's just like a time thing. Like this league, that's not really the meta. But they are like Dying Sun doesn't need a buff. It's completely fine. It's a super strong item. I've used it several times this league. The amulet is completely busted, especially with Headhunter. Definitely needs a nerf if anything. Sure, it's not worth much right now, but it's completely busted. And yeah, like Starforge for a change. Last league Starforge wasn't particularly popular. And yeah, Starforge is a completely okay item. So as for
the items are definitely powerful from both. You can make
Uber Elder, however, the ring and amulet, they could probably do with a small buff, to be honest.
the steel ring.
The
right?
rings, the steel ring and opal ring, I would...
The opal ring is pretty good. Maybe not as good this league. I mean,
I
I guess it's
feel-
tough. I think the problem this league is that you don't really have an Elder Ring counterpart as a spellcaster because you don't need Wallet's Mark anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, that's probably true.
So I do feel like they could do with a buff. Even if you did have the Warlord's Mark, I still feel like you're not getting that much out of your ring that you can't just make on a normal ring anyway. Like a good opal with like percentage damage and flat, and then you get high life. Like the percentage life is nice, but maybe buffing what the actual whip and the ball do. I feel like they're completely pointless.
Yeah.
They
kinda
do
suck.
nothing. You can't scale them properly, and you can't link things to them.
Just add
So
visual clutter as well. Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
kinda-
they're like just a bad thing. So if you actually made either the ability like a useful thing or buff them, that would be really cool. What else drops? The quiver. The quiver's really good.
Quiver
It's
is really
not
nice,
not
though.
super popular, but it is a really good item. I don't think that needs to be changed. I mean, if you vault it for +1, I think it's worth a shit ton. What else drops? Disintegrator, I feel like is sleeper OP this league. Like, it's like a 600
could see
damage
that.
weapon with 600 added to spells. So I just don't think the Disintegrator is being used a lot. I think that
The
is like,
staff notes are like really strong as
Yeah.
well now. So if you want to make like a nice build, that would definitely be a pickup.
yes.
You should
So
do.
I think that's something you can, if you're looking to make your own build and be a little bit experimental, I think you can make some busted Disintegrator builds right now that can, like,
Yeah.
you know, you can put like 100C into Disintegrator build and probably beat like a 10x Cyclone build.
Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's just, you know, if you do strong things that are cheap, you get way more bang for your buck. So Disintegrator's fine.
24C on hardcore.
Wow, that's crazy. Indigon, however, it's not particularly viable on hardcore, and people don't really use it on softcore. You have to invest, so it was kind of busted before, right? Because you get what, 3 or 4,500 spell damage from your helmet if you invested in it before. That's stupid, right? But right now it is such a big investment, and the build that it sort of worked with, which was Poet's Pen, it's kind of not there anymore. So I
Yeah.
would love to see a rework or a buff for Indigon. Probably a rework more than anything.
Yeah, I think it's part. I mean, it's important that they keep the items, you know, relevant from
Yeah,
the
definitely.
latest end-game content that
Yes.
you can do. That's really important.
or at least strong. It doesn't necessarily have to be expensive, but they have to be usable and strong.
I mean, I said relevant.
Yeah. Okay.
That
But
is
that's
good.
pretty hard to do though, because like the metas are gonna change. Sometimes melee is not gonna be relevant, and I don't necessarily mean
Okay.
that needs to. You don't necessarily need to change Starforge to make it relevant that late.
No, okay.
Um, What else drops? Oh, and Eternity Shroud, like that's busted. Like Eternity Shroud is
Yeah, it's
completely
still
busted.
amazing.
It's way too cheap. It's completely busted. I've been
Oh
wanting.
yeah. That's probably one of the best. But there's a lot of work that goes into making one of those builds.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
yeah, for sure.
So it's like a really fun project for anyone who wants to make something really strong in this league.
How do you build it in like in HC? Because most SC builds that I see using the Eternity Shroud, it's like 4k life, glass cannon, but like 30 million shaper DPS. It's not very exciting.
Yeah,
do
but you
build
don't
it
need
in
more
HC?
than like 2 million damage, and it's so easy to
Like,
get with
everyone
that
goes
build.
to like all the uniques and the conversion. You don't need all that.
No.
Yeah, that's true.
Go
That's true.
strong rares, like
Yeah.
shaper rares. They're insane already.
And you have so huge sources of added survival with either the Sibakwa Timeless Jewel or the Doriani Timeless Jewel.
Yeah.
Like there's so many that, and the Kiloava, like for the glancing or the Chaos one or the Energy Shield is extra. Like there's some busted things you can do this league with the Timeless Jewels for survival. So
I was actually thinking on my build, making it like the what's it called, Cosprey's cast and crit.
Mhm.
I was thinking about trying to chance a shaped version of that.
I saw someone had
and,
that.
Yeah, and make that into like a trickster cast and crit with
That sounds nice.
Eternity Round.
That sounds
I
really
mean, that
nice.
would just be good because you get up towards like what 12,000 EHP, like between the with the Doriani duel. It's actually crazy. Plus all the crazy damage.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty happy with Uber Elder, I'd say. Like
It's pretty good.
just some buffs needed. Oh, and Uber Zeri, I think Uber Zeri, like the items are in a pretty good spot. Not used as much.
Mhm.
Like the gloves could maybe need some love because they are the rarest item. They're good right now, but they're maybe not worth being like a, what is it? Is it a 0.3 or 0.5% chance?
I
Like,
don't
it's
even
a
know.
crazy drop rate for the acuities, right? And they're not that good. Like they are really good. I've kept mine because I really want to use them in like a berserker build. But like, and like all it does for me is it saves me like what 6 skill points. For a caster, it is a lot better because
Well,
then
I
it can save like
mean,
20.
It enables your build. Like if you have good regen already, then if you stop attacking, it never, since the recently pretty much always lines up with the leech duration. It's actually better to have it on the gloves because then whenever you stop leeching, you always have your regen.
Yeah.
So it's even better than the keystone.
Yeah. And they're crit and int and life, so they're really nice gloves. Is there any
And they
other
look really
uniques you
cool.
guys would want to change?
Mm,
Uniques.
Yeah, like from bosses.
Yeah, I'm just thinking.
The mask is pretty good on AD.
I would like them to buff some of the incursion uniques.
yeah.
That'd be nice. I feel like some of them are really cool, but they just.
What's the
I don't
weapon?
know.
The sword.
Oh yeah, that one's
We
pretty
haven't
cool.
seen this one in a long time. Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called. I used them for
Story
oh,
of the Val.
Actually, Story of the Val, the non-upgraded one is insane for leveling.
Really?
Yeah, it's really strong.
Why? What's it do?
It's just cheap and does a lot of damage.
Level
I don't.
30.
I
Oh.
remember using it. I was like, "Yo, this is nice." When you hit 36,
Oh,
it's just
yeah.
because it costs nothing.
That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, it is.
Level 35.
So that was really nice. It has like, if you're doing conversion at least, it's really nice if you're doing like LE and stuff. That's what people don't really do. And then the mask is like weird as well, right? It's not very good.
Hmm.
So I'd like to see some buffs to stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love it when they buff any uniques. I don't care which ones.
And
They
that's-
make
Yeah,
stuff
true. Like
better.
I just like seeing the changes,
Stuff
right?
good.
The
Yeah.
putting those unique up to date at each patch. I remember it was Legacy, I think, and it was like a wall of uniques that got changed, and I was excited. It was
Yeah.
Christmas, man. It was what is that? So many like very old uniques that got a new identity. That was really nice.
I
They
think
did a
that's why I
fair
like
amount this time
Prophecy.
as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I think that's why I like Prophecy so much, because it gives them the ability to be like, okay, well, we're not rebalancing the item. But here's like this like fairly rare drop or common or whatever, or epically rare, where it makes it like this super cool chase unique.
Yeah.
So I love it.
I would love a Fated Brightbeak. Man. A Fated Brightbeak would be really cool. Or yeah.
Speed Beak. 200% APS. But yeah, I think that was a pretty solid amount of topics for today's podcast. I actually thought it'd be a lot shorter. This is like nearly, I think it's the longest podcast we've had now. I was expecting a short 1 hour episode.
We're not very good at
So
keeping time.
yeah, it was nice though. It was chill. It was fun.
It was.
It was really nice. I really liked it. It's like
So mad. Thank you so much for joining us
Well, thank you for
here
having me.
on this podcast. Where can we find more of this beautiful French streamer?
All right. Well, on Twitch at Somayd, www.twitch.tv/Somayd, and on Twitter at SomaydPoE. I mostly just tweet nonsense and all this. I stream in English, even though I'm French, and yeah, stream every day, U time, and I'm a softcore pleb.
Wait, why are you so mad?
I was born this way. I don't know. I was just born like this, and I was just pissed. I mastered the art of not looking like I'm pissed, but I'm always mad. So I'm very, very easily triggered. You can come and try one day, and I'll give you some love, man.
Nice.
Nice. I'll come around.
And Nugi, where can we find more of you?
Well, Nugi and on Google. Done. That's good.
Nice.
Twitch and Twitter and everything.
And my name
Easy.
is Zizaran. Hopefully you're watching this on my channel, or it's been kidnapped. Go let me know immediately. It has been stolen. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the podcast. And more than anything, can we get a big thank you and an easy clap for the beautiful Twitch chat down here? So thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. We will be back in 2 weeks. And we'll see you guys then. We'll
Before we go,
uh-huh.
what's for dinner?
Oh no.